this tournament, maybe not going to be on the radar for that star duelist like we see with Jemkin, and then we saw yesterday with Crystal on the Rays. But absolutely, this is a team that top to bottom does really, really well. It's nobody that's kind of just stealing the show for them just yet. It is a very much a team effort, and Witt's a guy that we got to cast at 2021 in Champs.
क्या हाल है
on Team Secret, so it was a lot of fun to get to see him there, and now here again trying to get another team back up to that tier 1 level.
That's right. I mean, look, NAOS Esports, really good, really interesting pacing. I think with some of the other teams, their playstyle is very distinctive, but with NAOS, it's a really nice, good mix of like slow and fast plays, mixing it up. And I think they're probably one of the more careful teams, making sure they clear everything out before they go in, and hopefully they can carry on with it today. Now, the players are arriving, and I believe we can have a chat with them. So let's go over to Mac and see what they have to say.
I have NAOS. I believe they've just turned up. Going to try to have a quick chat. We'll see if they get a bit more hype than what we saw from SCARZ before.
Shout out to
Big
you,
Carl.
Yadav Gaming.
Where's my boy, Big Carl? Huh? He's not here yet. He's not here. He's coming. I'll grab one of them. They're a bit slow. They're slow out of the gate, but I swear their Valorant will be a bit faster than what we're seeing right now. Oh, got Jar, got Carl, got Wits, got all the boys. Carl, mate, have a chat with me. I heard from everyone in the arena that now's actually the time. So can you give me your best now's the time? Now's the time! Now's the time, baby! Let's go. Back to you guys.
Great interview.
Headset morning.
That was enlightening.
Yes.
I mean, look, sometimes you just want to get the players jazzed up.
Oh, no, I love that. That's
we
great.
don't want to have that slow creep out like we saw there from the van. We want to see them a bit more upbeat when they get on into the lobby and start playing.
It is tricky to get out of those vans. That seat is kind of, it doesn't leave you a lot of room to fit through there. The back seat, I'm talking about like when they have to put
right, and then you're kind of awkwardly.
Get out of a van.
Yeah. Well, with the seat in the way.
You are old.
Almost as old as NAOS players, I think. They're one of the more senior ones. I guess senior Carl's name is no joke. Okay, let's talk about SCARZ from Japan, and they've been looking pretty strong. I think we can dig into a bit about yesterday, but overall in the group stages, it was a clean sweep except for one team, which they lost to Bleed. But even then, they beat Bleed on Bleed's strongest map, Pearl, and they were the only team to do it. So, I mean, what do you guys think about SCARZ?
I mean, I think that they're a really good team, but one of the things that was lacking, one of the things that made yesterday's matchup be a little bit rough around the edges on that bind was that we did not see that big, impactful performance from Jemkin. He has been the guy that has been absolutely dominant their whole run throughout their whole season that they were playing over in Japan. He's been one of the biggest reasons why they're able to take down 𝘼𝐽𝐼, to get themselves into this event, to have that chance at promotion. But he was so quiet yesterday, aside from the very beginning of the first map. It was very much on Crystal, the IG race for this squad, to be the one to really push them over the edge to finally be able to get the win.
Yeah, and there were a lot of good plays as well from Torneko, Alan, Yoshi. These guys were really doing a good job having some impactful moments. You know, thinking back to Split in particular.
क्या लगता है दोस्तों कौन जीतेगा?
Torneko's really nasty with that Marshall and things like that. But they're a very good team behind Crystal and Jemkin, but a lot of their success is predicated on winning these individual duels, winning these individual battles. And, you know, yesterday on Bind, when you shifted Jemkin over to that Reyna, a lot of times he's left on his own, trying to do showers, control, or things like that. And he wasn't really as effective as he needed to be, or as we're used to seeing from him. So certainly I'm looking at like potentially the Jemkin versus Ja matchup to see who's going to be really coming out ahead in those duels.
Yeah. But I mean, Crystal having a whale of a time when it came down to the split. I mean, the Hail Mary shot there on the rocket, finds the kill, got the ace. So one of the few that we've had so far in the tournament, and just kind of carried over as well as we got into this absolutely wild and long map of Bind, just going the distance all the way up to 17-15 in that final score line. But this was one that SCARZ really had to fight for. Even with Fancy having that sub out, bringing Wukong back into the roster for this map to play the Sky, they were just so tenacious, willing to fight back at every twist and turn, but this was an unfortunate one for Nizzy. Got into an absolute cannot win scenario.
I was just about to like praise Nizzy, be like, man, I thought he played really good on this Cypher, especially on Vine yesterday. But yeah, certainly this round was one that he would like to maybe have back if possible. But I mean, things like the orbital strike in that round made it way difficult for him to get what he needed to do done. But yeah, I mean, I think for SCARZ here, if Jemkin can perform kind of more to that level that we had seen, you know, I think he's like top rating for a lot of the stats right now, coming in throughout the entirety of VCT Ascension Pacific. Then this should be kind of a good chance for SCARZ.
कैसे हो पापा जी? मैं ठीक हूँ. Stop it. आप कैसे हो?
But yesterday was a down day, so I don't know if it's the stage or just the team matchup. Not sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. It was a down day, and Crystal just stepped up, like you're saying, with a raise and an op, just kind of covering for all.
Attack op too.
Yeah, which was crazy. It's kind of your style, isn't it?
It very much is my style. Yes, I am the guy that plays the raise and the attack off. If my rifling's just not there, I'm like, all right, well, I'm just gonna scope it and just shoot some people. But my teammates don't like it too often when I do it.
No.
I do.
Do you?
I support it. Yeah.
I don't like
when
it.
I'm playing Killjoy, I just protect him. I'm like, just grab an op, and I'm just gonna like set a turret on one side, alarm bot on the other. You do your thing.
You're a good Killjoy.
I'm a team player.
You are a team player. Now, SCARZ is arriving, and I believe Mac is with them. Let's catch an interview with SCARZ.
Thank you guys, and welcome down to the back of the arena. It's a great.
कोटवानी साहब क्या हाल है? नमोर भाई सब ठीक है? आप बताओ भाई, आपने ग्रेजुएशन में क्या किया है? बीटेक नहीं, BMS, Bachelor's in Management Studies.
Ooh, he's just got that intimidating aura about him, mate. Come over here. Have a quick chat with me. Now, I know you're a pretty humble bloke, but how loud do you get when they win around? What do you do to keep the vibes good on the team?
Hard questions.
Okay. Well, what do you say? Do you scream? Do you scream with the boys?
No, I'm just saying, I'm trying to say them like what kind of mistakes we did last couple of rounds, that we need to avoid some of these mistakes, and I'm trying to keep positive vibe, like without screaming on them, like just like trying to be more problem solving. That's all.
Well, look, good luck today, and I'll see you later. Back to you guys on the desk.
Man of very few words.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, nothing to hype a team like positivity. That's what he was saying. It's like keep it positive.
How
point
3
out
foreign
mistakes.
players?
It's
Yoshi
very,
is Japanese, bro.
Pragmatic
Dual
approach.
citizenship है
And
इसका.
it's been working out for SCARZ, so why not?
I mean,
गेमिंग और स्टडीज साथ में बैलेंस हो जाती थी. हाँ, करनी पड़ती थी, वरना घर वाले थोड़ी खेलने देंगे.
Well, some coaches are gonna be a lot more quiet, kind of like Hermie and whatnot, and you don't show as much emotion, and that can work for you. So it seems to be doing a good job so far. So hey, keep up the good work.
Yeah. Exactly. Now, let's talk about some of the key players. You guys had mentioned Jemkin, we talked about Crystal, but why have you guys decided to zoom in Torrent Echo and Papi Chulo?
Flip the coin. No, genuinely, like Torrent Echo was, I think, really, really impressive and very pivotal.
Giveaway कब कौन सा giveaway bro? 3000 के अंदर Viper mini देखो.
Marshall from him. But aside from that,
It's a good
the
gaming
amount of
mouse.
assists he was also able to put up throughout the series was ridiculous. It was like 33 or something like that.
Tons of
Also finding,
paranoias,
I
yeah.
think 38 frags for himself. So yeah, tons of paranoias that were coming across and just catching multiple people on the opposite side. So he was very much the catalyst for Crystal to be able to go out and just dominate the way that he did, especially on Split. So Torrent Echo, I think, is somebody that absolutely needs to be zoomed in on.
Yeah, him and Yoshi doing a really good job with their utility yesterday, and particularly on Split. I was really impressed. But also, you know, Papi Chulo, one of the best performers we have in this tournament, period. I mean, averaging like 1.3 something kills to deaths. He's absolutely just popping the heck off. His clutch percentage is really, really good. I thought Papi Chulo's clutch percentage was a little bit better than that. The stats I looked at, he was like 11 out of 41 for his clutches. So he's having a really, really impactful tournament, whether it be on that Viper, the Brimstone, or the Omen. This guy's really reliable. He's one of those kind of quintessential controllers that you can count on to not only anchor down a site, but clutch out some really important rounds.
तब मैं सालू क्या मैं 60 हर्ट्ज पे
A lot
खेलता
of
था.
NAOS's matches have been very, very close.
And
so
44
it's
भी नहीं
relying
मिलता था
on
तभी
guys
तो.
like Papi Chulo. You know, Jaws having good performance as well, but Papi Chulo on the back line to really kind of settle you down and get you through.
Well, you know what? The winning team of Ascension has a chance to join the main Pacific League, and I think if we get any of these kind of controllers coming in, you know, they can contest against Mako for best controller.
Well, that's
a tall order, but obviously, I mean, it's not even just Mako at this point that you have to worry about when you join a Pacific, because you got Mondiette right there.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a plethora of people who are you know, incredible controller players that we have on Pacific, but these guys could absolutely, you know, try to make that name for themselves, become one of the ones that is just talked about the world over, because they have what it takes, you know, and if they can get through this tournament, if they can make it, if they can ascend, then why not? They absolutely deserve to have that conversation around them.
That's right. Now let's talk about our predictions, because we always talk about predictions here at the desk. What were your predictions?
I think we're pretty much on the same page today.
Yeah.
SCARZ?
Yeah.
SCARZ.
SCARZ
yeah.
for us.
I am predicting a NAOS win today, especially based on yesterday's performance. But why don't you make your case for SCARZ first?
Well, I just don't think that yesterday's performance is going to happen again today. I feel like 𝘼𝐽𝐺 especially, he's going to be the kind of player who's like, okay, that was an off day. I cannot have that happen. He's going to focus up. He's going to make sure that he is firing on all cylinders to be able to help get the team across the finish line. So I'm expecting to see a lot more impact from him. But even if it's not there, clearly it's still, you still have Crystal, who's this IGL that says like, okay, the strat this round is I go kill. And that was working, and the team sets him up so well to do it. So I think if 𝘼𝐽𝐺 plays even 20, 30% better than he was doing yesterday, that this is going to be a SCARZ win. Not saying that NAOS cannot get this. I think that this is going to be close. I'm expecting maybe all the games today to actually go to 3 maps.
That's what I'm thinking too. I don't think there's really a world where, especially this one, NAOS versus SCARZ, like both of these teams have maps that they're really good at. There's some overlap potentially in the map pool, but we'll see. And I just think like, yeah, if 𝘼𝐺 kind of regresses back to what we have seen,
I don't know,
so far,
Dhruv.
progresses back would be a better way to describe that. But what
20
in
के अंदर
particular was
काफी
really
monitors
impressing me
मिल
yesterday,
जाएंगे
especially
पर
on
आपको.
Split, was their ability to support each other. Yoshi and Torneko were doing a great job with those assists.
काफी
Well,
144
on the
हर्ट्ज
flip
मॉनिटर
side
में
of
मिल
that,
जाएंगे आपको.
I'm betting
20
against
के
them for the
अंदर.
same exact reason. If 𝘼𝐺 doesn't perform and SCARZ is too heavily reliant on them, then, you know, NAOS has really great protocol, and that experience they have in the past could carry them over the finish line here. Now, with that, we're going to go over to the stage. We're going to watch a walkout for the very first match of today. We've got NAOS, Esports, and SCARZ from Japan.
Hello sir, how are you? I'm good. Shubham, आप कैसे हो?
Lead with flawless instead. They will stain the record of such a stellar squad. Focus! It absolutely will be what with the 1 versus 2 clutch. Continuing to show that SCARZ is king. And NAOS is bound for the playoffs, and we get the 2-0 from NAOS. Very nicely done from the big man here. Fancy United.
One lesson I learned from this is like we gave them too much respect.
Respect.
Well done by Fancy United. Can send your crown.
Meta không tồn tại trong lối chơi của chúng tôi. Thì với vòng playoff này, tính kỷ luật và lối chơi đồng nhất sẽ là chìa khóa.
Hello Achal, कैसे हो दोस्तों?
Pero eventually naging okay naman.
हाँ श्रेयांश, वो तो obvious है कि they have to fulfill parameters
In Ascension,
as the
we
organization.
needed to beat our pressure. We almost
Slot
every
कभी
day
भी players को
fighting.
थोड़ी मिलता है.
All of us together face nervous, but I know that as long as we keep going and stick together as a team, we should overcome it. Kita itu tim yang terbentuk dari kalah. Jadi kita datang sini sekarang mau menang. Mình muốn thấy những trận chiến đẫm máu, những yếu tố bất ngờ.
For this one, think smarter and win this tournament.
I think in playoff, we can show more our performance or aim.
We're gonna go bump in the server.
I expect a chaotic battle.
Gue yakin banget preparation kita dan mentality kita.
It's a single elimination. We don't have second chance to bounce back.
Nasa sa inyo yung pressure, wala sa amin.
Let's see what you got.
चलो veto
We'll
guys.
begin the map veto process for today's first match. SCARZ is Team A and NAOS is Team B, so we'll begin with SCARZ banning the first map. SCARZ bans Bind, NAOS will ban the map. NAOS bans Haven, SCARZ will the first map. SCARZ picks Pearl, Cypher NAOS. Attack. NAOS picks attack. NAOS, you may pick the second map.
Lotus.
NAOS picks Ascent. Side for SCARZ. SCARZ will play defense. SCARZ, you may now ban another map. You have Fracture, Lotus, and Split left. SCARZ bans Lotus. NAOS, you can ban either Fracture or Split.
SCARZ हैप्पी लग रही है वीटो से.
NAOS ban Split. Final map will be Fracture. Side for SCARZ. Attack. Alright guys, all of a quick recap. So SCARZ bans Bind, NAOS bans Haven. SCARZ picks Pearl, NAOS plays Attack. NAOS picks Ascent, SCARZ plays Defense. SCARZ bans Lotus, NAOS bans Split. Final map will be SCARZ playing Attack on Fracture. You good? Alright then, good luck and have fun guys.
बिंग्स थाईलैंड, हाँ पता है. I changed my prediction SCARZ 2-0. मेरे को वही लग रहा है SCARZ 2-0 हो जाएगा. भाई ब्लैक जर्सी अच्छी है, मोटापा छुप जाता है. उससे ट्राई किया फनी होने का, पर मिजरेबली फेल हो गया, ऐसा लग रहा है मुझे. मोइन भाई, हेलो हेलो मनन भाई, क्या हाल है?
Presenting the semifinals of VCT Ascension, we are down to the final four. First up, it's NAOS Esports from the Philippines and SCARZ from Japan. Stakes are high, where only one team gets a shot to ascend to the Pacific League and be crowned the first Ascension champions.
You gotta love that the Filipino squads are always willing to have some fun with their walkouts. I know that plenty from the side of Team Secret. I'm not sure what was happening with the balls, but you know, it's lost on me.
Well, there's like
go ahead, clip
the
it out of
ladder.
context,
Do you know
I don't
that
care.
ladder game you play where you like throw those things and you try to get them to land on? Yeah, ladder ball. Yeah.
But
that's not what I call it, but I can't say on air what we call it.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway, we'll move on. But yeah, not sure what that was about, but it looks like the guys are still very much as expected, in high spirits and ready to play.
How are you guys feeling about these map picks now? We've got Pearl coming up first for map 1 and Ascent, which was NAOS' pick.
Makes a lot of sense to me because I think we saw yesterday that there was some confidence in that bind for the side of SCARZ yesterday, but didn't go great, and also it's been a pretty good map for NAOS in this event. So the Pearl, the map that they beat Bleed on, right? You would think, and especially since NAOS lost
Pupaji, Samar,
fancy, but it isn't clearly one of their best maps, so there's got to be a lot of confidence here.
मेरे तो गाइनो को मैच किया है, हर टी-शर्ट में प्रॉब्लम लगती है.
A little bit similar to the way, again, like we saw on Bind, that
I am not aware of क्या है.
Key differences in that they use Astra instead of Harbor, for example. So just really curious to see how this is piloted by SCARZ if they go into that.
Hope जो भी हो.
Yeah, I think that's good.
कोई बात नहीं.
Also, you know, the Ascent pick not going to be surprising at all for the side of NAOS.
Confident
either. So we saw plenty of highlights there from Ja on that map. That has always been the jet stomping.
आप भी team बनाओ, Popa, please.
He's going to have an off day. That is absolutely where NAOS could take the series and run away with it. So curious to see how that is going to look once they do get to it. But I think it's going to be maximum comfort here for the Filipino squad.
Yeah, and then Fracture to finish it out. I think Split's a little scary with how good we've seen. Both teams have been good on it, but, you know, especially with the way yesterday, the comfort that SCARZ looked in, you know, the way they look comfortable, I should say, to me, I thought, you know, if I'm them, I go to Fracture. I think that's maybe a little bit of a weaker map potentially, so not too surprising. So everything's pretty much what they run. Nothing out of the ordinary. The difference is the Phoenix and the Viper, right? Like that's where the key difference comes in. It's an extra layer of control for the side of NAOS, and then, you know, for the side of SCARZ, they rely on these double duelist comps to really do that damage, to take these isolated fights. And Crystal, as we saw yesterday, very, very good at it.
Yeah, and I like that NAOS also just opting to go for the attack here. That's where that Phoenix is going to find the most value. So they say, okay, let's start on the stronger side. Have that Phoenix have to start on the defense.
देखो टीम बनाने का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, मैं प्रैक्टिस नहीं करूंगा
once we swap.
क्योंकि obviously अभी दूसरे काम भी होते हैं तो
I mean, it makes me a little nervous that if SCARZ's win is
I don't want to
so
waste
much on
anyone's time.
mental state and if he's feeling it or not. Is that enough? What else can SCARZ do to ensure their win?
I mean, I think they still have enough firepower, even, you know, as we saw yesterday, even without. I think NAOS is obviously going to be a bit of a tougher opponent for them compared.
Big Daddy's team का हो यार, अनुज जब तक competitively खेल रहे तो कैसे बनाए?
Impact here with this Phoenix, then they'll be right as rain.
Yeah, and I think for me, my eyes on NAOS Esports is.
आपको practice की जरूरत नहीं। अरे मतलब अगर खेलूंगा भी तो मतलब कोई youngster का time नहीं खराब करना है मेरे को। देखते पुराने retired players के साथ ही बनाएंगे अगर बनाया। से qualifier खेलूंगा तो time pass में। शायद मैं कप्पा skills और दो लोग को लेके खेल लेंगे।
The Phoenixes can really play through that very nicely. You can just flash through it. You can create your own wall to create your own space as well. So a very self-reliant agent is Phoenix, and that's what makes players who opt for it so powerful. It is really difficult to deal with their flexibility that it can bring.
Well, the stadium is completely full right now. Again, Thailand is one of those places that just loves Valorant. You can hear the crowd behind us. I don't know if it's feeding into our mic right now, but the energy here is really high. We are ready to go into map 1, Pearl, which is SCARZ's pick. We got SCARZ versus NAOS. We're going to go to our casters. We've got Will and Quack.
Thank you very much, Victoria and the desk. I mean, first of all, 𝘍𝐿𝐼𝐿, I'm gonna have to educate you on what Wits did.
Okay, yeah.
That's called the Lato, L-A-T-O. It's kind of like clackers, so you just kind of toss it up and down, and the balls are meant to like clack up back and forth.
Do you clack it well as Quack?
I have tried. I'm not great, but I managed to do it successfully.
Are you better than Wits, though? Are you
yes, I think I could be.
But here's what I like. I like that the desk mentioned this, is the fact that Wits, as that leader, kind of trying to make sure, you know, the nerves don't get across the team, right? Let's just have some fun. This is just our personality. We're here to express ourselves both in and out of the game. Now, did it do enough to really loosen them up and get comfortable? We'll have to wait and see, because Pearl, I mean, sure, overall their record is fine, but the last time they played it, it was against Boom, and it didn't look so hot.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky, and I think they really suffered, especially on that attacking half. And that's the thing with their composition. You got this odd little Astra Viper. You know, you don't see that too often. These days, it's more the Harbor, right? But
yeah,
they kind of use that smoke to kind of find ways around the map, and sometimes it works, sometimes they kind of confuse themselves, and that's why it does come back down to Wits.
Yes, absolutely. I like what you said, because here, if it's Viper Harbor,
कुछ
which we
कोर्स
see
या
time and
कोचिंग
time
का
again,
सोचा
not
अभी
just
के लिए
on
तो
Pearl,
नहीं
we
है
see
अमन.
on across a lot of these maps.
Let's see maybe in the
It's
future.
much more straightforward in how you set that up, but we'll have to wait and see as we get started for map 1 in this best of 3. Once again, we have to remind you, single elimination. You lose and you are out. You don't have a chance to get into VCT Pacific until next year, but if you win, you get to move on to the finals tomorrow for one more chance to get that spot, to take your place in VCT Pacific next year.
That's right, grand finals, big stage, big stakes, and interestingly enough, big stories for both these teams as well, right? They already have a bit of representation inside Pacific, but at the same time, they bring such a different vibe, a different feel to how they play the game as compared to their counterparts. Of course, though, already starting things off, you got 𝘍𝐿𝐼𝐿 overconfident on that Sheriff, Will.
Yeah, I mean, and he's just holding B main, right? Going for that long distance. Now, they're not dealing with that at all. And I love the fact that they're trying to take mid control first, because here's the thing, SCARZ with that Phoenix, they will almost always prioritize that A main or try to push out. So now it's just trying to circumvent that for the time being. Does get tagged by the turret, but they're trying to just take over mid entirely. Now, what this does, right, with over a minute left, they still have some room. They don't have to rush this at all, but Jaw's gonna fall first.
Just getting tagged up through the wall with that ghost from 𝘍𝐿. Yoshi, so it's going to be a little bit tricky for NAOS now. They're kind of trapped up towards R,
Attack
towards
gay bhai
connector.
mid mein.
They have the option to rotate, but if they do and they go towards B-Link, that's where Jemkin is.
Yeah, so I like that Jemkin, first of all, he peeks to see if they'll quickly go for the rotate, then he would have had the jump. But he says, okay, oh, they're even backing out, so a little bit unlike SCARZ, right? We talk about how SCARZ, they don't like to give the plant away. They're always trying to get the kills first, but this time they say, we have the numbers advantage, it's pistols around, we still have sight. Tornico's waiting, can he get the first shot? Yeah, oh, the shoulder pay, he doesn't fall for it, but he's still not going to get the headshot right away.
Look at this instant reaction. Nebula down, and now Yoshi's hiding inside of it. NAOS, they're going to look for that plant. They're under pressure because of time.
Oh, bhai.
Motor, they hold it down because of the frenzy, and they get a triple.
Yeah,
now left up to Jemkin and Allen.
Frenzy power all the way, and Crystal, I mean, he was really just trying to beat the shield, but hold on, the round is about to end as Witz gets one more. Only Jemkin left, full health. Sheriff, not a single bullet fired just yet.
Not impossible. They don't know that he has a Sheriff. A single shot and 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿's gone. A single shot, Mojer's gone. And it comes down to Witz. Look at how they're stacking up together, Will. These could be good. Now Jemkin goes in for a peek.
Oh, bhai.
What is that? An instant double tap with the
mara
Sheriff. Two heads gone. And 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿, he backs up in towards Flowers, and he hopes that his position...
Arre, bechara Jemkin.
And he sprays it through.
One more clutch on the board for 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 with the low health, but guess what? I mean, he's understanding the fact that, okay, still a Sheriff. If I can just swing out, go for the run and gun, should be able to win with the frenzy. But I look at this, just trusting the fact that the frenzies are going to be advantageous when you're trying to push that backside. I like that they pushed it as well, right? They know they got some tags. They want to continue the advantage.
And you want to keep that on. You want to press that momentum, but oh my God, you must be shaking a little bit. After suffering those two headshots from Jemkin, I mean, you always know how strong this guy is, and sometimes you think, this is the guy to disable. You've got 3 Bulldogs now, a Guardian on 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿.
Yeah, so I like this now. It's just clearly saying that, okay, we can focus on B main at any time, right? With the Guardian on top of the Bulldogs as well. Now, this is going to give them some fighting power into the next round if they can hold on to at least maybe 2 of the Bulldogs and the Guardian, something like that.
Jemkin bhai चालू है क्या लग तो रहा है याद देने वाले guys.
They don't see anything, and now
तुम लोग क्या
makes the
लगता है?
call that, okay, well, if they're not pushing out of A main, they surely have to be stacking somewhere else.
In fact, that would be the right call. A bit of a bad gamble from SCARZ. Look at how the Killjoy utilities spaced out throughout the map. I mean, Allen, that alarm bot just blocks off Art. Nothing on A.
Okay.
𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿.
I guess.
Good look.
Yeah, if you're quick enough, it doesn't quite matter that it's still that short range.
Oh, bhai, 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿.
Holding down the flank, and now suddenly the retake doesn't really have a shot here from SCARZ. They were really relying on those 2 members being able to get at least 1 kill, put some pressure, pick up a weapon, but all of that falls apart. And Tora, Netgo, not a single kill, a flawless here for NAOS.
You would have wanted at least a little bit more presence towards the A site so that, you know, if your gamble doesn't pay off, you have that information as NAOS
Bonker's out, yeah, bro.
towards the A site, but
अभी single elimination है ना?
𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 with that alert, finding 2 big headshots, and of course everything else falling apart on the site. So flawless win. Will, this is something they get to carry forward to the next round in full.
Yeah, and again, with that Guardian, I mean, now you can try to compete and contest for a little bit of B main pressure, right? You don't have to shy away from it too much. You can still try to go for a peek early on. I mean, sure, you still need to hit the shot, and that's exactly what they're going to do, because if they can get that pick, they can start to rush in once again and take advantage of it. They get the tag, or they know he's in there. They push him out. The screen is still up. Will they just push forward with this tempo? It looks like they plan to right now. Jaw hiding. He wants to check. He's timing it with the utility, with the Trailblazer, right next to backside.
This is going to have to be a full retake from SCARZ now. They don't have the space for this. They're going to try to set up and maybe work off of Yoshi's flashes.
भाई मेरे को लगा उसको पड़ गया.
Yeah, and double sneak bite still available for 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 as well. Currently, he's still kind of close to sight. He doesn't want to give too much space, especially with the smokes coming in from SCARZ. Jaw currently stunned up, but they cannot push into it just yet. They haven't cleared enough angles. Crystal with the blaze. Jaw's good for 1. Has he bought enough time now for NAOS Esports? Trying to continue with the bonus round, but no, it's Jemkin and Crystal. Witz with the double shuts it down and shuts me up as well. Yoshi just trying to continue on, but the damage is already done. NAOS Esports, this is all just a cherry on top. The snake bite is good. Oh, and there's no time. Crystal, he just has to give it up. NAOS Esports, they not only take away 4 guns, but they will be taking the bonus round to lead 3-0 here on Pearl.
Oh, that is not how you want to start this map. And considering the fact that this is SCARZ's map pick, It doesn't inspire confidence. Apart from the great shots that they had, the retake, it just wasn't meant to be. They didn't have the space. They tried to create a little bit off of Crystal's blaze wall, but apart from that, the positions that NAOS have, the ideas that they had, just working off of the Nano Storm from 𝘼𝘽𝑒r, everyone else holding up from Pillar, it was just too darn hard. So next round, it's going to be a bit of a half buy from SCARZ. Can they come back though?
Well, they surely have to, right? I mean, I know the desk talked about
थोड़ा aggressive जाना पड़ेगा SCARZ को ये कॉम के साथ NAOS के कॉम के अगेंस्ट अगर बैठे रहेंगे तो NAOS इधर-उधर घुमाता रहेगा उन लोगों को
a lot of teams aren't used to, right? You should be able to try to take advantage of that, you know, whether it's that A main control, whether it's the mid control. And SCARZ, they've been really trying to focus on the B site once again whenever they're on the backhand here for economy, and once again that 50-50 bet, it's not working out, Quack.
I don't know. They do have a turret, and that does give them the information this time. But you're going in for another retake play, and that is where your positions are going to matter because now they have swarmed the site.
NAOS पागल नहीं बना तो last time NAOS walk in कर दिया था ना guys, तो एक बार SCARZ ने 2 स्टार डाल के रखे थे ताकि वो लोग पागल बन जाए कि हाँ हम होल्ड कर रहे हैं लेकिन NAOS too smart बोलते हैं guys, playing very well.
A little bit deeper into secret, right, towards the back of the site, so that they can push out if they ever need to. Alarmbot's still watching the flank as well, but guess what? Neither of those is where they need to focus because they're all coming in from Arc. 𝘼𝑚𝑘𝑖n good for one. Crystal immediately fires to go for an extra kill. They've now opened up the entire site. Now lineups at the ready. We've got the gravity well as well, but has SCARZ gotten in there just early enough? The snake bite, it bounces, it's good. It's continuing to buy time. 𝘼𝑗𝐿𝐿𝑒 holds. The blaze comes out, they're just trying to fake it out. SCARZ trying to plant Crystal. But the spam through the smoke. The spike diffuser is killed. And there's just not enough time. 𝘼𝑚𝑘𝑖n's going to try to hold it if he can stick it all the way through. It's not going to happen. 𝘼𝑗𝐿𝑒 raises his arms, shouts across the stage to prove that NAOS Esports is here to win.
क्या चिल्लम चाले चालू है?
Flying high, Will. This is painful for SCARZ. I mean, sure, they didn't have the best buy coming into the round, but it's still that idea of trying to go for a retake after the spike's been planted, and it just doesn't work out. Look at these ideas that NAOS has, just going in for those sprays, going in for those spams through the smokes, and nobody can do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, yes, obviously this is Pearl, it's the composition for SCARZ as well, but this now harkens back to what we kept talking about the entire tournament with you guys starting from the group stage. Hold on, 𝘼𝑚𝑘𝑖n, he's already up at the pillar, but he didn't have any help, and he just has to peek out 50-50 left or right. They're on both sides.
That's not what you want to have from SCARZ.
𝘼𝑚𝑘𝑖n भाई को उड़ाया जा रहा है भाई, वो सोलो खेले जा रहा है.
He's gone, and everyone else was kind of reinforcing around the A site. They're gonna have to rotate over a little bit late. You even have the cosmic divide coming up from 𝘼𝑗𝐿𝑒 himself right now.
Yeah, and Crystal, he throws the hot hands, but it's not where they were planning on going for the plant anyway. So Crystal, he's just trying to go in with the ultimate to try to get some information, but Josh shuts every part of that down. Crystal is traded out, and once again, it's 1v3.
All you got is Yoshi, able to only get one, but then instantly traded out. Now it's 5-0. What a win streak.
Yeah, I mean, before that round kicked off in such a quick tempo, that's what I wanted to mention is, again, maybe we're starting to see the reason why SCARZ doesn't like to give the plant and go for the retake, right? That's not their strength, and we've known this. They're so much stronger when they're able to just take the duels earlier, go for that earlier tempo. But we saw yesterday, other teams are starting to figure it out. They're trying to change things up, of course. They're also kind of ping-ponging on their economy, and Crystal's doing what he can to try to pick up a couple of these kills, but it really just comes down to what the Des mentioned, what we've been talking about the whole time, Quack. 𝘼𝑚𝑘𝑖n needs to start getting more kills. He is at the top of the leaderboard, but that's with barely that 1.0 KD.
And that's the main thing. You have so much faith, so much trust in this insane star fragger from SCARZ, 𝘼𝑚𝑘𝑖n. But then sometimes that translates into, overconfidence. He's just trying to take duels by himself on Pillar. If you don't have any assists, you don't have any support from that.
NAOS पूरा
you're just
utility
going
use
off
कर रहा है,
of
अच्छा लगता
raw
है.
positioning. And sometimes
और they are
the raw
going towards
reactions as well.
𝘼𝑚𝑘𝑖n.
And it doesn't really help you all that
उसको
much.
क्या
You
सामान
need
यूज
something
कर
to
करके
give
भगा रहे
you
पीछे
an advantage in those duels.
Yeah, and you
और
know,
मार
sure,
भी रहे
we've
ऐसा
seen
नहीं कि
people
मार
get lucky to try
मार
to get
नहीं पा
away
रहे
with the dash as well with the tailwind. But here's the thing: if you're all the way right up against Pillar, you actually need like one extra hop after the tailwind, right? You're not entirely in the clear, even if you get that one kill. Curious to see. Now, one thing I will always say, I like it when star players still go in confidently, even after losing duels. Because, yeah, as soon as you lose the confidence, now you've lost everything and you're just a shell.
अच्छा चेंज कर दिया अभी
maybe
फिनिक्स भी
asking
खेल
for a little
दिया
support wouldn't hurt, right?
Yes.
Just saying, okay, well, I still want to push up. Can we have, you know, Yoshi come this time with the guiding light, something like that? Now, this time, for that, they're going to go for the change. Jemkin over on A site.
Now, I like the star up over by the bottom of B long as well from Torneko, because that is a little bit of support to the duelist who is anchoring the site. Now off the timeout, they're taking this slow, Will.
Yeah.
They're anticipating some sort of a play from SCARZ, and of course it is a full eco, but Jemkin with the blades, always a threat.
Yeah, and here's the thing is that they're also trying to test the water, see is SCARZ really going to try to push for these orbs. Now, not initially off the back of the very beginning of the round, but currently they will give that Cosmic Divide over to Torneko. So SCARZ trying to get whatever advantage they can. However, Art is opened up. Yoshi hears Trailblazer coming. The stars put up.
Ooh,
is it going to be a smoke? Okay, just to buy time.
Now just waiting for it too. This could be a tough spot for NAOS.
नहीं जाना
If
चाहिए
they do
हाँ
push
नहीं
into
गए
the A side, it's a bit of a crossfire since SCARZ has taken control over A main. But again, that's the thing about pushing through mid. The beauty of it is that you have the option to rotate back or to go through B link. And if you do choose to go through B link, there's only one player there, but are we going to go through water?
Okay, just checks in and says, okay, well, if someone's getting tagged right there, like, I don't want to have to deal with that. I like that they check it, but here's the thing, 30 seconds, they hadn't cleared the alarm bot, it just gets tagged. So SCARZ should have a pretty decent idea. However, they're not going to move because here's the thing, you already committed on this eco. The Blaze and the Hot Hands being used just to buy time here from Chris. He's just looking for one kill. Well, he's good for one, but unfortunately, that's exactly all he gets.
Not too bad, though. Good bit of damage, and now we got the double updraft from Jemkin. He's looking for a head, doesn't quite find it, so now secures the spike plant. You got to be quick on setting up those post-plant positions, maybe backing up in towards long, and here comes all the smokes engulfing the site. Jemkin tries to go for the frag, but gets punished by 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 instead. Now they're anticipating this, they're reading this, they're prepared for the push from SCARZ.
Yeah, and we're starting to, I think, see that NAOS Esports, as this round should end without any more damage on the side of NAOS Esports. Yeah, just another clean round. They're starting to really give a lot more space once the retake starts to happen and kind of baiting Jemkin in, right? We just saw there the Seekers used to try to set him up with the blades, but they're all saying, okay, well, we're going to hide right outside of smoke, so at some point you just have to dry peek out, and then you don't have the better weaponry. I mean, sure, if you get the headshot, that's great, but we have seen that he's not that hot yet today.
And it just brings back to that point from the desk from Victoria, Achilles and paper thin. It's just all on towards Jemkin, and NAOS specifically have plays to counter this one guy. Something has to change. Meanwhile, 6-0, this is tough. You got Jemkin on an operator now, and he's locking down A main.
Yeah, again, I mean, if you can't get those aggressive duels that you wanted with the rifle, you got to get it with the operator, and finally he's starting to come back alive, opening up the round. Again, not to say he hasn't gotten any kills, he's quite frankly gotten the most on the side of SCARZ, but overall, NAOS Esports has been one step ahead of him. So Jemkin gives space, gives a little bit more respect, and pulls his teammates back so that they can really hold on to Art and the initial entry point into A. Alarmbot also still alive on B side.
If you're thinking from NAOS's perspective, you probably don't want to re-peek A main. You know the operators around that spot. Of course, they might have to check it with some pieces of utility or a jump peek or two. So Jaw's going to use the updraft to actually get that information instead. But look at this entry frag. Driving on towards Crystal. They get to go for an option, but no, we're just committing to the A site.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though, is that Jaw jumps in, and he gets the kill, but not only does he get the kill, but that means that they open up Art so that they get the pit up. You know there's an operator on the other side. Numbers not quite in your favor, but it should be safe for the time being.
Still, though, the Viper's pit up. Someone got spammed. SCARZ is surrounding this entire green ball of gas, and it could go horribly wrong. Using the vantage point now, Torneko finds yet another. But look at this spray from 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿! Suddenly, two gone! And we're down to Yoshi at 1 HP. He pushes out. He takes out 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿. The Viper's pit is down.
I
but
love the
unfortunately,
lockdown. I love it,
Hell's not there.
Yeah, I mean, this is just to buy time. He just needs to stay alive, and he's even going to get the kill because he knows Yoshi has to push out. He has to take out the lockdown. And once again,
क्या चिल्ला रहे भाई? क्या चिल्ला रहे?
Now I know, on the desk, they were split between you and me. We were split on our predictions too, but I don't quite think any of us thought either of these teams would get such a clean record in the first half.
Definitely not. When SCARZ picking this map, if you think about how the previous games have gone, think about how group stages have gone, NAOS is one of the teams that kind of go through their best of threes playing all three maps. It's always a little bit rocky. They always stumble a little bit somewhere, but they do come out with wins. And that's the main thing. Their win rate on Pearl actually isn't terrible. It's 76%. Yes, wasn't perfect against Boom, but they made it 10-13. And they were stronger on their defensive half. If SCARZ don't start winning rounds right now, that will spell trouble.
Well, I mean, they just dropped the operator, right? Quack, I don't know if now is quite the time for SCARZ. It's definitely the time, as we heard from Senior Call for NAOS Esports. And I love, again, every econ. Because of the Phoenix, they don't want to rush into these close quarters combats. They're just taking their time, inching forward. You see that they didn't take the warp early. You say, okay, that means we can probably creep walk into a site relatively clear. Nobody's home. And sure, they can try to peek out, but you do have the weapons advantage. Jaw, he's a little scared of. Oh, I even like the Nebula just being used, the Nova Pulse rather, just to assist. And Moja's going to peek out away from that. He dies though. Oh no, with the spike, you're giving away the spike drop as well. Trying to make sure they don't pick up the weapons, but NAOS gets a little too ahead of themselves. And now you gotta be able to just tail your way out of this site, and it's not gonna happen. 𝘼𝘽𝙊𝐿 once again in a clutch situation.
Wham, bam, thank you, man. We'll take and we'll hold on to that spike. 𝘼𝘽𝙊𝐿 slowly inching upwards, but he doesn't have that much time left, Will. Still.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to get whatever kills you can, right? Econ-wise, NAOS Esports, they can still buy up. You know that SCARZ is going to be able to buy up the next round anyway, so he tries to do whatever he can, maybe get just a little bit more on the board there for himself. Not going to happen. Finally, a round on the board for SCARZ. Can they tie this in to 4 more in a row, though? That's the big question here in the first half.
And that is a good bit of adaptation from them as well. The way that they're trying to hold out from Art instead, using the off angle, using Crystal, run it back, and just going in for it. Of course, you need to convert that into even more wins, and that's the whole point of a Thrifty. Now you get to buy back up. Now you get to stand a better chance, and NAOS is full buy. But they've got those ultimates, though. Allen on the lockdown. Something that they can use for a retake, perhaps. Interestingly enough, it's a 3-man setup on the B-long area, and they're waiting for those heads. They're looking for those picks. And Jemkin trying to reinvigorate his confidence, but it's not quite happening. Jaw instead outfranks it.
Yeah, and Crystal was nearby to try to support, but couldn't find a timing. So he's going to take advantage of both his smokes and the opponents to try to get out. And SCARZ, they'll just say, okay, it's a 1-for-1 trade, and let's back off. We do have A main control. Crystal coming over. Do they intend to just push all the way out of A main? It looks like it. Crystal's just skipping ahead because you still have that turret over in Art.
भाई वापस B contact अभी सही है, nice call.
Presence, a lot of information that can be gained. Meanwhile, NAOS pushing towards the B site. You've got Yoshi in this one spot, and he has that information. They're not confirming it though. Now probably rotations coming through. One thing that you got to count out for is 𝘼𝐽𝐿 on this bit of a lurk. If anyone does come his way, he might be able to catch them off guard. But SCARZ, so aware, they're all going together as a team. Instead, they're working off of Allen's lockdown.
Now, here's the thing. You mentioned 𝘼𝐽𝐿, but I believe he should be right outside of this lockdown. So do they think that B-Link is clear? Because otherwise, he might be able to catch the back of him right away. Currently, the site. Oh, they're trying to push out, but Crystal is good for 2. Takes out Jaw. Yeah, but here, it's going to be 𝘼𝐽𝐿. Does he realize that they're on the defuse? Allen, he jumps off of it. He wants to win the duel, but he's so low health. Goes for the tap. 𝘼𝐽𝐿, he knows that they're not on it just yet. And the enter. Crystal good for 1, but now he needs to fight. Yeah, half defuse still there. And 𝘼𝘽𝐿, another 1v1 win to get the round.
𝘼𝘽𝐿.
And 𝘼𝐽𝐿 right around the corner. They had no idea that he was there. 8 wins for NAOS, and SCARZ just playing catch up. They thought they had that one. They thought they had the site.
Yeah, I mean, hopping off of it, not only because you saw the kill coming in, but of course,
भाई इसके पास Phoenix का wall था रे, अगर ये कर देता तो
different हो सकता था. They thought B-Link was clear. He's good for another. He's able to buy time within the smoke, and bhavinkotwani knows I just need to hide and peek as soon as I have the timing, because the half defuse was done. 8-1 scoreline. NAOS Esports, I mean, they're already happy with this half, but they will gladly take more if they can.
Surely. Again, this is a team that is very, very capable, especially when they're playing together. A bit of an exchange towards the middle ground, though. And that's going to be now NAOS trying to rotate back around. SCARZ out to gather information, but they don't know that Jemkin has an operator. Now the shot sounded off. So maybe want to be a little more careful. Jemkin is falling back, so they're going to use this presence to take the B site.
Yeah, and earlier SCARZ did tag
I
someone
must kill
over
right now.
as the force
Fataak
of
se
NAOS
space
Esports
le
enter
lete.
B-Link, so they just send the SCARZ to make sure it's all clear. Nobody there, so Crystal knows he doesn't have to watch his back. He can now focus on the retake with the smoke timing. Jemkin, he doesn't predict it, but he still flicks over to get the kill onto Ja. Now leading 4 versus 3, still an operator in hand though. bhavinkotwani good for one. Yoshi trades that out. Yoshi now has the flank over on Wiz, but the flash not quite good. Flash himself, he still gets the headshot. Meanwhile, another trade on the site. It's all down to Senor Carl, and he cannot clutch it up. Yoshi, a great flank to open up yet another round, now getting the second one on the board.
The difference maker this time will coming in from SCARZ. It's that flank from Yoshi. It's Jemkin being a little bit more patient, just waiting for that smoke to drop. In the previous rounds, we were talking about it. We saw how aggressive NAOS were being, how aggressive SCARZ were being. And in those moments, they don't have that much space. They're just going headfirst into duels, and that's how NAOS comes out on top. This time, SCARZ, they temper themselves.
Yeah, it's good to see though, right? Because that's kind of been where a lot of their inconsistency came
I think
from.
being too confident
in their duels. And Jemkin, you know, he's now got that operator. The operator has been good to him this map. He just hasn't been able to purchase too many so far, but he is able to carry that one over. Yes. Teammates bringing it back for him. Now he's able to hold A main once again. You've got the Phoenix and Art. This is what you want to see from this composition, right? Utilize that Phoenix to either take an early orb or take control of mid. And now they want to see, okay, the turret doesn't tag anyone. Do they plan to push out? It looks like it's really just meant to be a trap play here off contact.
Okay, curveball, not really needed. We're just taking away that turret, and we confirm the information that NAOS is trying to make that same play, trying to use this middle ground to rotate between sites.
Yeah, but what NAOS has always done is they peek out of Art, and then they push B-Link. So SCARZ this time, they're prepared. It's a double stack here in B-Link. Cornick was already good. He actually just doesn't need it.
पहले ही बोला तुम्हारे भाई ने इन लोगों को फाइट करना पड़ेगा. अगर फाइट नहीं करेंगे तो हार जाएंगे. अभी फाइट कर रहे हैं तो स्पेस नहीं मिल रहा ना SCARZ को.
And SCARZ now has them trapped in mid. Yoshi continuing his momentum from the previous round. bhavinkotwani, it's all down to him as it always has been, but not this time. SCARZ will get another third round.
The children have grown up, and they stand up to their poppies, and you just can't work against a firing squad when there are that many guns staring down your barrel. You have so much presence, so many players positioned up towards mid, positioned outside of door, positioned outside of heart, just like you were talking about, Will, and that is precisely SCARZ's game plan. They wanted to counter the mid play from NAOS.
Yeah, and also knowing, right, that we kept the operator, they're going to try to avoid it because Jemkin has been good with the operator whenever he had a chance. So SCARZ starting to get in the minds of NAOS Esports. It does feel like maybe it's a step too late, but you never know in a game of Valorant. I mean, if this goes 4-8, we said NAOS is probably happy about it, but if you're SCARZ, you're probably just fine with that score as well.
True. Not too bad of a scoreline. They can come back from that, but right now it comes down to this A hit. NAOS fully committing to it.
Yeah, I do find it interesting, right? Jemkin just fires off the Trailblazer because he still has Crystal to back him up. So mostly trying to goad them in. The lockdown being used early, and I don't think SCARZ minds this all. They already have cleared mid. Sure, they have to wait for bhavinkotwani, but they're going to try to surround him on the flank. They're just going to let the plant happen. Oh, never mind. Crystal trying to go for that cheeky early kill. Not quite good yet, but bhavinkotwani gets one from behind. Only one. Now, the flanks in full action, but the flash was still in action for Jemkin, and Ja will find him before he's able to look back at his screen. And now backside all cleared up, and now it's Esports the flank. It doesn't quite matter because now you're practically just on the attacking side, having to break into the site. Alan, he'll get healed up, but they only have that one guiding light, and there's the operator this time from Ja with the blades. 4K, 9-3 half for NAOS Esports.
A Quadra kill in the last round of the first half. NAOS feels good about this. SCARZ, not so much. We were talking about it. 4-8 wouldn't have been too bad, but 3-9, yes, there's the curse. I don't know if it's going to come in today. And look at how Ja was confident enough to go in deeper, past the site, through the secret and flowers. That is confidence. That is also just how they eliminated that first prong of the attack. Off of that, all they have to worry about is the flank.
Yeah, and again, we saw a little bit of that movement earlier.
Chalo
in the
guys,
half
agar
as well.
pistol
Now,
haar gayi
Esports,
SCARZ,
whenever
to
they
it's
set up for A, they always had Ja ready to push out should the flank fall, right? So they would still have 𝘼𝘽𝙊𝐒 there. Sure, you always have the Killjoy there, but it's always been ready, and this time they make use of it. And 𝘼𝘽𝙊𝐿𝐿 has the highest ACS. Not, I would say, probably not just among controllers, but he's up there overall in this tournament.
Surely, without a doubt. And that's the thing about NAOS. I mean, when you're thinking about this team, you're not just thinking of one sole player. Yes, Ja, the duelist. You have star duelists on other teams. But on NAOS, you are often thinking about them as a whole. 𝘼𝘽𝙊𝐿𝐿, Senior Carl, the way they all work together in tandem just to work around positions, come up with big clutches. It's not always the high-speed aggression aim duels with these guys, and they are able to make it work, especially on a map like Pearl with so much space around it.
So now we switch sides, attack and defense. We keep talking about, I mean, both teams probably preferring that attacking side. On the side of SCARZ, a lot thanks to their Phoenix composition. On the side of NAOS, also just kind of where they've shown that strength a bit better. But now it's going to be really rely on the toxic screen setup to really erase one side of the map for NAOS if they want to close this out early. And then you still have Senior Carl with that assistance, you know,
SCARZ will definitely win. If they win the pistol, they
is
can.
going to be good enough to fight the tempo of Phoenix. The barriers go down. SCARZ desperately needs this pistol.
Well, swapping sides, swapping strats. It's also the mid play from SCARZ. They're exploring out towards connector, back in towards art, clearing it out, making sure that it's all safe.
Yeah,
I mean, to the A site.
Yeah, they should just be able to walk in, and here's the best part. They didn't have to use that one curveball to get into the site at all. So he can keep this against the retake, and there's so many good angles to use it within the A site, maybe even behind. They even are holding on to sewers from Yoshi. Yes, the flank's available. You can always hold that to go back into art. I mean, the mind games are absolutely in favor of SCARZ. 𝘼𝐿𝐼, he does get tagged by it in the end. It's actually going to be Allen who gets tagged, but do they quite expect him? No, but he doesn't get the first shot. He does get it on the second. Allen, can he get the trade? The frenzy's good. He has to reload, stays alive, but 𝘼𝐿𝐼 is here on the flank here from art. But 3 members still left from SCARZ. Now it's Esports. They have a slight idea of the locations, but the curveball, it's too fast. Yoshi gets a kill as well across the map.
Now off to the last player. Not enough time. Only looking for frags.
Let's go, SCARZ!
The next round, but of course, Crystal with the positioning and the ideas. You were talking about that curveball for the longest time, Will, and this is precisely what it was meant for. How they saved it up, how they got so much space around the middle side, around connector, setting Yoshi up for a bit of a flank as well. NAOS had no idea what hit them. They didn't know that all that space could be used by SCARZ.
Yeah, and again, I mean, if you play Phoenix, which I know there aren't many of you at home, but for the some of you, you know how bad it feels if you have to use that one curveball on the pistol early just to bring into sight. So SCARZ understanding that if they just go for the flank, they can save it up. Now it's a fast one. With rifles, by the way, we've got double Vandal, double Bulldog, and the Spectre. So SCARZ, they know that they're so far behind, and Allen just gets 2. He already saw the third as well. He's beating them in, gets a third. Does he expect Wits here? He's full flash, but he will be able to live it. 𝘼𝐿𝐼 right there to support.
What are you going to do now if you're 𝘼𝐿𝐼?
Crystal ult, अगर जीत गए इको, फिर next बार on Allen ult. 9 all तो हो सकता है guys. अगर ult से round convert होते हैं तो, and then फिर उसके बाद NAOS का ult cycle आ जाएगा.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would almost even say maybe even momentum-wise, right? An attacking defense side, and then the composition, all that together, we might even have to start raising the hand here on the side of SCARZ. Of course, you mentioned it, we mentioned it at the beginning of the previous round, but double Vandal, double Bulldog, they have their choice anywhere they want to go. Run it back available. Do they use it just to clear out one part of the map? Currently trying to set up for a bit of a setup here in B-Link.
It is the run it back available from Crystal as well, though. Round 3, by the way, and he's using it.
Yeah, he's just going to clear in. Really just there as backup. Jemkin had already cleared it out. So Crystal, I mean, sure, they take control of mid right now. And once again, what happened last time was they all pushed into A, but they draw out all the Killjoy utility. Now Art completely open. B-Link completely open as well.
Look at the ripples because of this, too. I mean, they cleared out so much utility. They have all the options. And NAOS actually forced to play so far back behind because they're unsure as to whether or not SCARZ will push out through Art.
And that's
going into Explore.
That's why they were trying to push back in. Exactly what you mentioned, Quack. They said, okay, I don't feel good about this, though. And they are starting to fall apart at the seams. I mean, Witz tried to get it with the Guiding Light over an Art, but he cannot win the first duel. Then the other side of the map, NAOS Esports continues to try to pinch. They cannot win the duels, and at that point, there is not much hope. This was your buy round, your anti-bonus. NAOS Esports, they desperately want to do whatever they can. But here's the thing, you have a decent round advantage still. I know you're getting crept up on, but you got to start to think big picture. 𝘼𝘽𝙊𝐿𝐼, he'll be able to save it for now.
Yeah, I'm probably going for X and Frax this time. You don't want to give up too much to SCARZ. Yes, we got to think about the big picture. And we're going to have to hold on to this and try to scrounge up more rounds because all NAOS needs is 4 more.
And here's the thing, SCARZ says, well, guess what? Our Vandals are from round 2, baby. We're coming with the bonus. We're coming to hunt you down. Well, they're all surrounded. Art already being crept up as well. Crystal's good for 1. 𝘼𝘽𝐿, he just wants to stay alive. Wow. He just wants the spike to go off, and it will not in time.
अभी SCARZ वाले चिल्ला रहे, चिल्लम चिल्ली चलते रहे.
Even more rifles to move on. A couple upgrades.
पापा किसी को बुलाओ भाई, सबको पूछा मैंने, कोई देख रहे क्या, पर नहीं आ रहे आज कोई. I think.
You don't even get to buy back up. You don't even get to pick up a stick, a stone, and turn that into a spear for the next round. This is not good. NAOS, I don't know. They're going to have to use this round to find whatever they can get, explore a little bit, maybe call the timeout on the next half. I mean, the next round. Because that is now the story. SCARZ are closing in on this gap.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Superbrett's face there, too. He's like, wow, what's going on? Like, what is going on? And now a timeout here for NAOS Esports. I mean, they were saving this up. They didn't need it in the first half, but I like it, right? Just really, this time it's about that momentum. Sure, economy-wise, they just lost the anti-bonus, their buy round. So, you know, a lot of teams, sometimes they'll just let this next round pass, something like that. But obviously, there's a discussion to be had about half armors, right? Maybe drop a couple util just to buy rifles up again. Curious to see what the discussion and decision will be there on the side of NAOS Esports. Meanwhile, I love to see SCARZ still talking through a lot as well, not wasting this opportunity, because quite frankly, you are still behind in rounds.
And you have to think about what your game plan would be. Ooh, very nice NAOS notebook, but that's the thing, because SCARZ have been exploring mid, they have been using their utility
Hello, Viraj.
from Crystal to actually create so much space, to create so much presence that NAOS aren't too sure how to defend, how to rotate around it.
CS की watching 100 की आ रही है लॉल. कौन सा CS event चल रहा है?
Would that work out? That's the thing they have to think about.
All right, so they're just going the safer route. Don't want to get caught in a rut economy-wise. So now
DC नहीं bro. किसी को देखना ही नहीं है.
In their hands. And they won't even be grouping up, right? They're just going to play very default, just buy time, see if we can waste SCARZ's utility, force them into a bad fight. They check B early, they leave the turret there, and now they start to stack as 4. With the Phoenix, A site often looks a lot more enticing. They're starting to hear the Trailblazer come in too, but here's the thing. This is all a fake coming out from SCARZ. They have a lot of intention to start to lean towards B long.
Well, at the very least, we've got 𝘼𝘽𝐿 around the B
players
site,
to Korea mein where they are right now.
So this is good information for now. They just have to confirm it and rotate, you know, a little bit faster. Given they don't have the guns, it's okay. SCARZ.
They're just going to hang out, right? I mean, NAOS Esports, here's the thing. You don't want to get caught
𝘼𝘽𝐿 के ऊपर और farm क्यों नहीं कर रहे लोग बिल्कुल भी.
So they're just going to hold on. The Blaze being used. And 𝘼𝘽𝐿, I mean, he might even just hide here as long as possible. Not even good for a single kill. Of course, a bit of a rough fight with those pistols. Spike has been planted way out in the open, as quite frankly, as open as it can get here on the B site.
के पास 5 और से second round में बेशर्मों ने और ऑफ फार्म ही नहीं करा है.
We just run in, try to get whatever fights we can. We all know how difficult this can be, right? With the setups here from the attacking side.
We have a couple of sheriffs, Will. All right. I think 𝘼𝘽𝐿 and 𝘼𝘽𝐿 might have a bit of a statement to play off of that.
Yeah, you know, I often forget these guys are a lot better with sheriffs than I am. You're right. You know, when I have the sheriff, it's like, well, I might as well have nothing. But these players, they could get a couple good headshots, maybe get a couple ult orbs.
It does come down to cover around the spike though, and they're just holding up around in case someone does peek out. Alt orb, one for Ja, I guess.
Oh, and I really like the gravity well as well, just to make sure everyone just stuck in there, that you're not getting away with some free upgrades, because of course if the Jet's able to pick up a rifle, stay alive, eventually you get Blade Storm, the economy might snowball. So SCARZ, they play out exactly as they need to, and the run it back is
like
back.
KJ or Cypher?
And that's quick from
KJ.
Crystal. Only 6 points needed to pick that up. This is now
I mean,
4
खेल तो कुछ भी
rounds
सकते हो,
won in a row by SCARZ.
depends on how you played.
A lot more confidence in how they work their way around the map this time, and you can see that they're demonstrating a bit of depth in how they kind of maneuver around.
7 out of
Now
the
we
last
just had a
9
picture of
rounds
Lou
won
there,
by
of
SCARZ.
course. Unfortunately
Last 8
eliminated
to
here,
9.
but a lot of support for Oceania. But right now, all eyes on Japan and Philippines as they try to get a chance to make one more spot for their regions in VCT Pacific. Crystal is just running it through with the run it back. He's even going to just stand on the snake bite, try to take the duel. Gets a little bit of damage onto 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿, but here's the thing. You draw out the snake bite. You do some damage. You lock them onto that A site. Meanwhile,
Please, Bhagwan. Please, 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 को और उठाने
Set
दीजिए.
up the same plan from SCARZ. Presence on A, rotate back over to B. 𝘼𝐿𝐿 has to be the one to try to do something around this. It's not smoked off. You've still got tunnel, you still have heaven. You just need line of sight. SCARZ are playing it safe though.
Yeah, they're gonna just say, all right, we want to make sure. Oh, we get good position. 𝘼𝐿𝐿 with a nice hit across through the Seekers to get that kill. And now they're just gonna wait.
I guess we don't have to see in order to find kills. Just spam through it. But still, the spike is planted, and now NAOS has to retake.
Yeah, they do have that operator, so they give it over to Wits. Ja wants to go in, break open the site. He's going to B-Hall with his teammates, and 𝘼𝐿𝐿's going to take the hit for him, but 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 falls as well. This wasn't part of the plan for NAOS Esports. Wits says, did you forget about the potential operator? Senor Call, he's here. Oh no, he cannot defend his teammate. Wits, he has the operator. He's trying to peek. He's going with the clap.
अरे एलन भाई,
Takes out the kneecaps of
एलन भाई के पास बुलेट नहीं है.
Yeah, if I can't use my big boomstick at this range, I'll swap over the classic. It's faster to pull that out. It's faster to tap away with it, and he manages to win out the
एलन भाई आप ना और फार्म कर रहे हो, बुलेट भी नहीं है, कैसे चलेगा?
They turned Halls and Belong into a bit of a crossfire with how they set that up. But also with NAOS and their numbers just overwhelming, throwing bodies at the problem, going away with those trades. They come out with the retake. They managed to fight their way back. It's 7-10.
क्या बोला था मैंने अभी? अल्ट इकोनॉमी इन लोग के फेवर में आ जाएगा एक राउंड के बाद. 9-all हो सकता था, फिर अल्ट इकोनॉमी NAOS के फेवर में आता, पर इन लोग ने अल्ट्स बरोबर फार्म नहीं किए SCARZ ने.
But this time around, NAOS Esports continues it. Good guiding light. Now they have information on mid. They're actually just going to try to pressure with the operator, but it's not good. Ja has to try to survive. His teammates are there to provide support. Wits, the lone sacrificial lamb.
Still a good pickup for SCARZ. A bit of information for NAOS. And they have to figure out how to defend because the spike is headed over to the A site. You might have control over A main. You might have, I guess, Senor Carl up around Secret Flowers, excuse me, but...
Yeah, but most importantly, now SCARZ didn't quite see this, but 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 had his Poison Cloud up to pretend that they were still in sight. Crystal's going to take out Ja for the time being. Curious to see if this mind game worked for 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿, trying to hold on to A main. Meanwhile, Senor Call, he just wants a couple kills coming in from the entry, but they say no. We're just going to try to bait you into the very end. We're not going to fall for this. Oh, it's going to be Crystal, the sacrificial lamb, but there's a chain right at the last second.
Just locked out. There's that Poison Cloud that you were talking about, though. But I feel that if you are SCARZ, you should at least anticipate that idea coming out from NAOS. Instead, they're diverting all of their attention towards Secret, towards the back site.
They have no idea where he is, but of course, there's a lot of members that 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 has to fight against. Now we talk about, yeah, I mean, he's done a lot of clutches, Quack. But time, not quite on his side. He knows he has to clear so many angles. He's trying to take these all one by one, and Yoshi gets the timing. Takes him out from the side.
Oh भाई, चलो पैसा तो कम है NAOS के पास, पर अल्ट्स बहुत है guys. बिली गेमिंग गोइंग चैंपियंस विजी शो को. हाँ क्या?
But NAOS has 5 ultimates.
Bilibili Gaming ने
No,
हरा
hopefully
दिया
they
क्या?
can make good use of it, because just looking at the scoreboard, once again the story is Crystal is sick of hearing everyone only praise
अभी तक
Jemkin
चालू
because he
है
is
ये तो
topping
game.
it once again
Yeah,
on the side of
Bilibili
SCARZ,
Gaming
leading in
champions.
kills, opening the site with the run it backs, with the curveballs, throwing everything he's got with those hot hands of the Phoenix. And now SCARZ, they're getting real close. Run it back once again available. I mean, there's a potential that you could try to use it just to clear the Viper's pit even, right? I mean, you'd use it. If you get the kill, great. If not, I'm going to try to get some mid control. But for now, they say, that's not worth it. I mean, sure, the ultimate comes by pretty often, but not twice in one round. So we will save it for the time being.
I think that's just the thing. You want to find maximum
I am not a
value
big fan
out
of this
every
alt
little
from
piece of utility that you have.
the Viper Papichulu.
And they're trying to burn out that utility away from NAOS as well. NAOS right now, not really sure how to defend around it, because SCARZ has been going for this mid play. Now back through Art, and they're just bypassing the Viper's pit.
Yeah, they know he's somewhere here within the site, and there's the run it back to bait him out. They find the exact location. Shaw answers back, but he's kind of stuck here. Cannot get the wall bangs with the blades. Just trying to stay alive. Now the spike is stranded here in the middle of the site, but Jemkin, nice peeks here from all angles of SCARZ, and it's a triple play as the three remaining members all stay alive, get the plant as well to continue the credits rolling into their bank accounts.
That's my face.
Well, from which side? Oh, just from watching it?
Yeah. I mean, it was a good little bit of an attempt from Jaw, you know, finding a couple of picks, but
Hello,
still,
Unleashed.
SCARZ with the weapons, SCARZ with the knowledge to work their way around the site. Everyone held separate angles, and that's that bit of teamwork. That's what we wanted to see today. Not just Jemkin, but everyone from the team showing that they have value.
Yeah, well, Operator coming back here for NAOS Esports, and it's going to be very important. You mentioned the ultimates before. They had all 5, so they used 2 to do whatever damage they can from on the side of NAOS Esports in the previous round. You still got things like the Lockdown, the Seeker, and the Cosmic Divide as well.
We're going back towards mid, too, from NAOS' side. 3, maybe 4 players just reinforcing this one spot. It leaves Ja alone on B, and with the Operator, he can make some noise. He finds that first impact.
Yeah, and you still have Mojo nearby as well. So, trusting that he tries to go for another kill and maybe trying to peek back out, but just one step too wide. And now with the Cosmic Divide from SCARZ, the site is opened up. But yeah, they're just drawing out the ultimates. They still have so much time. They have a minute on the clock. They're all just going to back out.
And that this is not so bad for SCARZ, right? In fact, it's a good thing.
Yes.
They are buying out
तो
those
alt
ultimates.
bait out
Now
हो
they
गए
rotate
अभी
back
एक
around.
4
Now
alt यूज हो गए
are
गाइस
playing a bit
NAOS
of a
के
guessing game. Are they going
लास्ट
to
राउंड तो
force
हार
it?
गए
If they are, what
ये
do
राउंड
they
भी
do?
हार
Could
गए
they be going
तो
back
NAOS ये
towards
गेम
B?
हारने ही
So
वाला है
many
क्योंकि alt
questions,
इकोनॉमी जो उन्होंने
so
फक कर दी है
much
पूरी
to think about.
Yeah, but they're making the best decision they can, right?
अभी समझो
Instead of
यही
saying,
राउंड
okay, well,
पापिचुलो
they
ने
might
ए
go
पे
to
अल्ट
split
कमिट किया
2 and
रहता
2.
तो ये
No, I
फेक
mean,
होने
you're
के बाद भी ये
committed
नहीं
to
जा
a
पाते
4-man
ना इन लोग
rotate. Let's just
समझ
make
रहे हो
sure
क्या
that
बोल रहा
they
हूँ
don't take too much map control. Group
इको
up
राउंड
the
में
mid,
कमिट करने
make
से
sure they're
अच्छा
stuck in the site. However,
I'm scared, Will.
Yeah, one wild card is Jemkin. Now coming through hard, just one tempo late, and he's got to wait for Allen to get contact. The alarm bot, Jemkin, he's waiting for the free kill. So he cannot clear the angle. And now Jemkin waiting for another, and Mojo just says, well, I can't worry about that right now. I gotta go back, but he has second thoughts.
हो गया अभी ये गेम जीत गया SCARZ
Alt
अल्ट इकोनॉमी मैनेजमेंट सब में SCARZ बेटर खेल लिया अटैक में NAOS भाई
What an adaptation for this team. Just Crystal, maybe the IGL, maybe calling for this idea of buying out those ultimates from NAOS, pushing up and making so much noise up towards B-Long. You had to think that that was a commit because they had taken up so much space. And suddenly, with enough time, they rotate through and on towards the A site. Just unfortunate for NAOS, you had Jemkin on that lurk.
Yeah, that lurk was very crucial, right? And I love the angle he was holding too. That was one where the opponents had to commit. Wits had to commit fully into Art if he wanted to clear that. And you know that they just didn't really have the leisure to do so. Now, beginning of this round here in round 21, now finally tied up SCARZ. Can they make the comeback turn into an advantage? Or will now Esports start to creep back away? A heavy stack of utility here on the A side. Also buying all the way down with the half armors for now Esports. They start to feel the pressure.
That's why they're all stacking up around. They need that faith. They need that confidence. They need to be secure in their decisions right now. SCARZ are just inflicting mental pain, mental confusion. Senior Carl, though.
Yeah, he's just going to back up. He catches a short glimpse of it. Oh, he can't get the first kill. He's trying to run away, but okay, he will make it out alive. It looked like there was a split second where he could get caught. Now, Ja, I love it. Just try to branch out. However, SCARZ has thought ahead of this. They have Toroneko waiting by club here in B long. They know that there could have been someone here on B site. Ja gets one kill, but does he suspect the flank? B Hall now taken over by his teammates, but Toroneko comes back. He's opening up B long, and now it's just about B Hall. 𝘼𝐽𝐻 can't get the kill though. Wits, can he be the fortress that NAOS Esports needs? 𝘼𝐽𝐻 comes to support Wits. The flash is good. 𝘼𝐽𝐻 gets that kill, gets traded out, but Wits is still alive. NAOS Esports, they will continue keeping the lead at 11-10.
Just playing around the site, waiting for SCARZ, Wits, having that patience, having that presence, that control to send out his Hawk. He saves his teammates. And off with that, a win. You're now 1 up. Can you keep that up?
𝘼𝐽𝐻 को और फार्म करो चुपचाप 𝘼𝐽𝐻 राउंड निकलवा के देगा.
But Wits is doing what he can as that leader. He holds on, most importantly, he holds on to Hall. But on top of that, like you said, the utility usage continues setting up 𝘼𝐻𝐻 because you know 𝘼𝐻𝐻 can't back out. I mean, that gets enough kills, and then his teammates will deliver just a fast push onto B long from SCARZ. They're doing whatever they can to change up the tempo, run it back, available, and surely you know this is coming, whether the toxic screen goes up or not. Everything is being thrown down from SCARZ. Ja just has to stay alive. He'll clear out the ultimate, but he's not in the clear himself just yet. Trying to hold on to B Hall. He knows 𝘼𝐻𝐻 could be there. Oh, I like the idea, but 𝘼𝐻𝐻's also 1 step ahead. 𝘼𝐻𝐻's cleared out B Hall, and it's just an absolute massacre as SCARZ opens up the site and takes the momentum right back out of NAOS's hand.
Please, Bhagwan, please, Allen को और दिलाओ, Bhagwan.
SCARZ turns that dial up to 11.
पैसा देखो उनका, Bhagwan, ये राउंड सिक्योर करो, 12 पे पहुंचो.
And you were talking about that idea from Ja. He wanted to bait out a peek. He threw down a cloud burst, but all it took up was more time for him to get his weapon at the ready. SCARZ, they were so quick on this push that NAOS didn't really have time to react.
So now, with that tempo change, NAOS Esports, they have 2 things to consider. Does SCARZ continue pushing fast, or is this one of those situations where that was meant to be the curveball itself? And I love it. Use the timeout, because now you also throw down your own question over to SCARZ and saying, okay, well, you know we just called the timeout. Do you double down, continue with whatever you were planning, or do you say, whoa, 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 hold on, maybe they're getting a read on this, let's switch it up?
I do feel like, given NAOS's economy right now, though, I feel that pressure, Will. It's one of those moments where it's kind of overtime or bust. If you cannot win this round with your current economy, you're banking everything on the next. And after that, that could be SCARZ on match point.
Yeah, NAOS Esports, they had the lead for so long. The first half looked so good. They felt in control. They were forcing SCARZ out of their comfort zone. But SCARZ has returned the favor as they take the initiative on the attacker's side. And now NAOS Esports, you know, they try to make some success happen with the operators. They cannot continue it. You mentioned the economy quack, and it's not looking good. So they just say, okay, well, either way, there's a good chance this goes to overtime, so let's not go too heavy. They say, okay, worst case, we just give the match point, try to go to overtime 100%. Some might say this is a bit of a passive play. However, look at the minimap. They're ready to rush out. The barriers go down. The countdown has fired, and they're now in position to fight in A main. SCARZ answers back with a curveball of their own. It's not looking good. I can hear the grimacing coming out from Quack right next to me, and it just does not work out. I mean, you still have that Nebula up, but they sprayed it down enough to know there's not another member hiding. Now, really, the only hope for NAOS Esports is 𝘼𝐻𝐻. He's trying to get mid control, but he knows the turret is there. Perhaps got contact. 𝘼𝐻𝐻 gets another kill as people are just trying to peek out. NAOS Esports, they're falling apart. They're all going for these 1v1 duels with worse weaponry. This is not the position you want to be in, no matter how good your aim is. And 𝘼𝐻𝐻 arrives last to be taken down by Yoshi. SCARZ will take map point first here on Pearl.
Like I said, overtime or bust. That was the idea. That was the play. They wanted to find maybe some control over aiming, maybe work off the information. But instead, they were met by so many players, an entire unit from SCARZ. You need large caliber bullets to kill large caliber players, and with the current weaponry that they had, it just would not work out no matter what. Now we have it. Now we have the guns.
Yeah, but SCARZ, Jemkin says, well, we've got some credits rolling around as well, so I am happy to take on that operator battle if you feel the pressure to push out a B long. I like this idea from SCARZ because now it's esports. You got to imagine that they're starting to, you know, just grasp at the straws here, and so Jemkin just waiting to see if there's an aggressive push out of B long. If it doesn't happen, not a big problem. SCARZ, they can just go back to controlling mid.
That's precisely what they're about to do. Trailblazer clearing out Art. Now it's just hovering around both extremities of the map. You only have one pivot player, and that's going to be Senior Carl. He hears a bit of noise, and that's what he's feeding information off of. But then SCARZ just rotate back silently through to B.
Yeah, exactly. You were holding that operator to wait to see if anyone pushes out. No one does, despite making so much noise in mid. Got the Blade Storm, you have the Cosmic Divide as well, so now it's all up to Mojer to buy time. However, the rotate is very fast because thanks to the jump peaks from Mojer. Will they fill the site? Yes, they flooded in. They're trying to support Mojer as best as they can. B Hall being held onto with the NAOS. However, the lockdown, it pressures Mojer to push out. Now Esports, they're all stuck within the radius and they cannot get the kills. It looks like it may be over, Quack, of course. Still a little bit of hope. 3 versus 4, not the end of the world just yet. Poppy Chulo on the
Oh, bhai, Jemkin bhai, jag gaye bhai.
Now just absolutely burned out. And now it's Esports. Wits and Senior call the double team. Carl and Wits, can they do it? But there's so many members they need to take every look at the positions for SCARZ. Yeah, they're just all peeking out one by one for the trade. Left, right, and top, and it's going to be Yoshi with yet another multi-kill.
Comeback bolte, 9-3 curse bolte, guys, khopdi kholte.
13-11, we went
oh bhai.
for rounds, Will. It was 9-3 at the end of the first half, and SCARZ just finds the way. They are battle tested, they are battle hardened, and they take out the win on their first map pick.
And this is why, despite some of the inconsistency that we're starting to see from SCARZ, a lot of us keep predicting SCARZ. It's just the pure fragging power, and like you said, somewhat of this veterancy that they're starting to show, you know, getting used to the stage, the adaptability, not losing that confidence. I mean, you were down 9-3, like you mentioned. You still actually never got ahead until the very last 2 rounds. You barely tied it up at 10-10. And SCARZ, they're able to say we picked this map for a reason, and it's to win.
इसीलिए चाइना देखो नहीं देख सकता ना guys. Permission लगता है ज़्यादा ये सब देखने.
In this do or die best of 3.
Me especially on that attack.
So लग रहा है टाइलू, बिली और EDG जाएगा.
NAOS did have a good first half, but SCARZ just came back in full. They knew how to toy with them. They knew how to use that exact same playbook of playing around middle to just confuse their opponents, even rotating back and forth. And sometimes you could see Jemkin started to awaken.
Yeah, that's the biggest part, right? Is that Jemkin, he wasn't getting, you know, too many kills in the beginning, still leading the team as best as he could. But once they started going over to the attacker side and Crystal
Billy gaming
with
best
those running backs on the Phoenix, Jemkin starts to get fired up, eventually gets
a
slew of kills to his name. Same with Yoshi. So many multi-kills from that Sky on the side of SCARZ to really close out these rounds in the second half, and they will be able to win their map pick.
I mean,
आज
yes,
अकेले
this
बैठा
is
हूँ
the
guys.
first map gone. It is a little bit of pressure for
Lunch कर रहा हूँ.
It
Okay.
doesn't feel the best, and that's the thing. You have to think about.
आजा
the
lunch
stakes,
करके
because
team
now
speak
they
बकचोदी
want to
करते.
make it through to essentially. They want to make it to their grand finals to possibly
बल्ले
give
बल्ले gaming.
Philippines
Oh बल्ले
that
बल्ले.
second
शाबाश
representation
शाबाश.
in Pacific.
Yeah, I mean, this is what all these teams are fighting for, is to try to get to that finals, get into VC Pacific. Well, just map 1 from this best of 3. That's it for us to go take a short break. However, we do have Komodo standing by to break down one of the rounds here on Pearl.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, welcome back to the breakdown segment here. We are going to start off with the round number 7. And this one is going to feature a good adjustment from SCARZ with the information they were able to gain in a couple of previous rounds. So we'll start off with a look up toward the minimap. Now, in the early stages, we saw SCARZ putting 4 players over towards B and having another player over towards the mid side, really playing absent over on A. But this time, it comes in the difference of an adjustment where there's an operator going to be put in the hands of Jemkin at A. With the the utility that we do see starting to come on down, however, from the other team, we see that there's going to be a Cloudburst already here and 2 stars that are going to be used. Number 1 for a Nova Pulse and number 2 for a Dissipate. Now keep an eye on the timing for poor, unfortunate Wits. He actually misses the timing and gets taken out by 𝘼𝐽𝑘IN real early. So that gives an advantage for SCARZ, who are technically still without a round on this map just yet. So an opening pick conversion here is what SCARZ are going to be looking for. However, we know with this round that's not going to be the case. So as I speed up a little bit later into this one, we're going to see a guiding light thrown in towards mid from Yoshi, and that's going to signify that he still needs to be keeping a little bit of pressure around mid, and is actually going to call for a star to be placed in Art. Now, in the coming seconds, we're going to start to see an execute come over from NAOS in the form of 2 stars here and the tip of the spear, the jet. Because they're in a player disadvantage, a Cloudburst is actually going to be going into the site to dash in towards and trying to isolate a kill on towards Crystal to even us up into the 4-4. But what comes after this is showcasing the importance of utility and how you need to maximize it, knowing what you have available. So right here, as I mentioned, we are going to see 𝘼𝐽 go in towards the site, in towards the Cloudburst to isolate the frag onto Crystal, and that's where the pressure is going to build a little bit too much for Yoshi in the link, and he's going to have to fall on back. So when the site gets taken over from NAOS, we can see that 𝘼𝐼𝐍𝐿𝐒 is going to be dropping the Viper's Pit in this 4-4. And you know in a Viper's Pit, you want to be getting the retake. It makes it a little bit difficult because 𝘼𝐽𝑘IN still does have this operator in play. So with the plant starting to go down in that Viper's Pit, 𝘼𝐽's going to fall, and another player in just a moment too, to give us a 4 versus 2 situation in favor of SCARZ. They should be propped up perfectly to be able to go into this retake. But what is lucky enough from 𝘼𝐽𝑘 is the fact that he is able to get the Viper's, his lockdown rather, in a double spray down. And this is where things just completely turn upside down. A peek out of the pit from Yoshi, and remember, realizing what utility you have is what I just mentioned is going to be such an importance. So we can see here that 𝘼𝐽𝑘's got his lockdown and he has an alarm bot. With the time that he's able to buy himself here, a lockdown can get dropped and the alarm bot is going to go down. Now that wasn't actually seen from Yoshi. It's going to pop into him, it's going to make him vulnerable, and that means the classic from 𝘼𝐽𝑘 can be pulled out to get the job done. Great realization of utility usage to come through from the side of NAOS, even though they're a player down going into that one. Thanks again for joining me here on this breakdown segment. Throw it over to the break and get ready for the next map.
Okay. Golo, आया क्या? नहीं आया. चलो गाइस, अब तक एक टीम डेथ मैच खेलते हैं. TDM. भाई भाई गॉड स्क्वाड की कोई वॉर्ड दिखाओ.
Turning around, the tides shifted in the favor of SCARZ, and they end up winning that map, which was their map pick. Now, Clinton and I were having a chat with the Filipino casters who were doing group stages, and they were saying, oh, it's classic Filipino mid-game choking. I mean, what do you guys make of it?
Look, I don't believe in curses.
भाई भाई सब follow all good. प्रियांक पता नहीं ये गेम को क्या हो गया है. भाई लोग टीम डेथ मैच में भी डीसी करके बैठते हैं क्या? बीसीसी रिव्यू अभी कर.
Yeah, I mean they just keep pushing space, and you know whether it be if the defensive walls came out from NAOS and then Crystal can just push ahead. He doesn't care if he dies or not. He just needs to get there and delay the defuse. These kind of things. Once the plant came down, the retakes were nigh impossible. It seemed like NAOS was really struggling to come up with ideas and ways to defend it. And even then, 𝘼𝐽𝐿 is just constantly pushing angles. I mean, he's shutting 𝘼𝐽𝐿 down. Anytime 𝘼𝐽𝐿 tried to throw a cloudburst or something like that to buy time or try to sneak into it, 𝘼𝐽𝐿's just there, pushing him, just displacing him and diffing him, frankly. So it's just, I mean, a lot of things going very well, of course, on the attacker's side, as we all saw, for the side of SCARZ. But yeah, it's kind of been NAOS's story, right?
That's not ready.
Sometimes they're very streaky. You look at these stat lines.
अपना ही डेडलॉक डीसी करके.
The reason why we hope for SCARZ is because we anticipated that 𝘼𝐽𝐿 was not going to have another off day. It wasn't going to be that back-to-back.
ये वाला मैप शायद पहली बार खेल रहा हूँ. हाँ पता. Yes, गणेश कैसा है गणेश?
Too slow.
क्योंकि गेम ये है अभी डाउन है. I mean first map हो गया. And nobody is interested in the semi-finals it seems.
अगर मैं खेलता होता तो लोग इंटरेस्टेड.
Going up. Reloading. अभी खेलना फिर एलसीपी का सेमी खेल फाइनल्स खेल.
Solo.
What's up? Yeah, what's up? Yeah. Yeah, where is it?
10 seconds until stage change.
Stealing sight.
Yeah.
Reloading.
Stage 2.
पापा आप कब जाओगे थाईलैंड वॉच पार्टी का?
क्या करे गणेश? आपके जितने फेमस कहाँ हैं हम?
पापा प्रोसेस चेंज कर ले. क्या हो गया सेम प्रोसेस?
छोटा ही कर सर अभी कब से तो कर रहा हूँ.
हाँ क्या थिकनेस छोटा हो गया?
हाँ वही छोटा कर दिया क्रॉसहेयर कब का मैंने.
क्रॉसहेयर तो चेंज किया समझ में आ गया.
अरे तेरा भाई भी मारता है पग में. अरे 140.
तेरी माँ 400 UPI 0.91.
You will not kill my ally.
क्या मॉनिटर?
माउस में ये रहता है ना पॉइंटर.
नहीं वो ऑन नहीं है.
मैं ऑन पे खेल रहा था मैं पूरा कर.
हैं?
क्योंकि मेरे को पता ही नहीं था क्या.
क्या होगा रे तेरा गणेश?
अरे
अरे दो बॉडी शॉट पड़ गया रे. 10 who बोलते हैं. भाई देख तेरे भाई ने 5 वन टैप मारे कड़क
देखा देखा पुपा
ये कैंप कर रहे भाई बेशरम 4v5 में भी कैंप कर रहे सब
Yeah, I think
Nailed them.
हाँ सेज कर ले कैंप बैन की
Not your best.
Raiders of the bloodlust going. Rampage.
Careful now. That's not ready. And forward.
क्या गुंडा बनेगा रे कैंप करके तेरी माँ का
15 kills to go.
भाई क्या कैंप कर रहे भाई
I'm a good shot.
10 kills to go.
My ultimate, they are so dead.
track record on this stage, I think. You know, when they played against one team, he was top fragging.
By a lot, right? Like 24-15 or something like that in terms of just pure KD alone. So,
45
performing quite well when he needed to over on Pearl as well.
Strong team. That said, though, Wits does have a pretty good track record on this stage, I think. You know, when they played against one team, he was top fragging.
By a lot, right? Like 24-15 or something like that in terms of just pure KD alone. So, yes, I mean, Wits was performing quite well when he needed to over on Pearl as well, really proving that he's a leader of this team for a reason. Now, the question is, you pick this map. You've really favored it, 3-1 record here in the group stages. However, while SCARZ has only played it once, and it was against, you know, the team who had the weakest record in that group, they looked very good. You know, they looked very good, and they looked very confident. This was actually one of the maps they played in the group stage, Quack, where I realized, oh, they're like actually starting to give the plant away because they understand that Ascent, it's kind of hard to just always flood the site. So they just wait until backup arrives and then go for these trades, not necessarily utility-based, but still, you know, duel-based.
Yeah, duel-based, numbers-based, and they overwhelm their opponents with force. Again, something that SCARZ is really good at. there's so much to think about if you see how they
Sage
actually
बहुत
play,
irritating
but
था,
another
हाँ
thing that
यार.
we can consider is also SCARZ's track record on the map ascent. Yes, they played in the group stage. Yes, it was against a team that wasn't, you know, showing up so much, although they had that potential. SCARZ has also played Ascent quite a bit in their own Japanese Challengers region, and that's where I think they struggle a little bit. It wasn't so bad against other opponents, but when they played against, you know, the second best team in Japanese Challengers, 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐼, that is where I think they struggle a lot, because out of the 3 times that they played Ascent, they lost all 3 wills.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you had to pick out a weak point, you know, perhaps this is that match. Again, and now Esports likes playing this map. So again, draft-wise, we can theorize all we want about it. It does seem like now Esports should be able to get back in form, right? Say, okay, you know what, it was close on Pearl, but hey, it wasn't our pick. We've never really liked playing that map. We never really looked, you know, that shining on it. So let that pass. Move on to map 2. It is a best of 3, and I mean, you guys can see it on your screen. The stage looks amazing. The crowd here is amazing in Bangkok, Thailand. However, it's single elimination. You don't get many chances if you want to continue playing here and then playing in VCT Pacific next year. So now Esports, their backs are way up against the wall.
You really have to go in for that mental reset at this point. When your backs are up against the wall, if you just keep thinking about how you performed in the last
पाजी
map,
कॉलेज में Valorant tournament हो रहा है, अच्छी बात है. All the best.
Right, I think that's the first thing.
Best of luck.
Right behind us is actually where all the NAOS fans are. It's on the NAOS side.
Oh yeah.
They are cheering for them. You can feel that energy, and you need to bring that forward into your gameplay. You know these guys, Ja, Papi Chulo, Senor Carl, Mojo, the whole crew, Wits as well. They have experience. They are good. Now you just need to bring it together, right? Like, don't think about everything else. Don't overthink your decisions.
It's the same when you're playing your own ranked games as well, right? We've all been there where we thought we could have won and something happens and you're still thinking about it. You queue up without thinking. Then you lose again and you're like, well, I can't end a loss. And then it's 4 a.m. and you're still losing. You probably D-ranked twice. It's not like this happened to me recently, but I'm just saying it can happen. All right, might have happened to me towards the end of the act, but I did redeem myself, just so we're very clear. However, all that aside, again, I mean, this is, again, we joke about, obviously, kind of relating to it ourselves, but this is way more than that. The stakes are very high. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it does look like we need a little bit more time to get into map 2. I can't wait either, but don't leave us. We will be right back after a short break to jump into Ascent between SCARZ and NAOS Esports.
लग रहा है गाइस एक और TDM खेलना पड़ेगा. आ रहा है गणेश एक TDM खेलने.
Then I am the forest coming straight from the mud like I am a loader. So हाथियों का बल कैसे सकेगा तू मुझे रोका. देख तू कैसे मैं लड़ूं तुम लोगों से ऐसे न डरूं. डरूं मैं जिससे मैं तरुण पानी पे चलूं मैं जिससे मैं वरुण. चाहे मैं जीऊं या मरूं जो करना चाहूं मैं वही तो करूं. आता है तू ना करीब तू बेटी चीप जब तक कटे ना तेरी ये जीप. Better believe you're gonna bleed. Pick up a seat, get your team. I'm the king of kings. Brother in arms in a battle. You all gonna die if you act like a vandal. Bring the realms to reality from every angle. This is the public service announcement from Mumbai to the rest of the world. I am a Raja. I am the Raja. भिड़ेगा तो उठेगा जनाजा ना. तू मेरी तरफ आना. आ गया तो होगा फिर तनाजा ना. ये भारतीय भाषा फिर दुनिया सुनेगी ये तराना ना. 'Cause I am the Raja. 'Cause I am the Raja.
Let's.
अरे अरे चौथा भी ये अपना अरे अरे
Stage 2.
Too slow. And 4. My ult is ready loaded. They are so dead. Come on, let's go. I'm out of here. Loves his gun.
10 seconds until stage change.
Too far.
Stage 3.
Rain is down. Watch your eyes.
अरे रे 136 पड़ा है रे 3 बुलेट
I win again.
Taken out. My ult's ready. Reloading.
Oh yeah! Monster on the loose!
I can't miss.
10 seconds until stage change.
That's 3.
Party's over.
Dominating. Final stage.
Go, go.
अरे रे
15 kills to go.
Go, go, go.
ओ भाई ऑफ आ गए
I'm out of here.
Charge your ult.
What?
10 kills to go.
नहीं पिक करना
Kills remaining.
Bye-bye.
अब तक लाइव नहीं किया
It's just beautiful utility again. Happy birthday, Darion, as well. Why is everybody born on this day? What happened?
I don't know. They managed to disengage to get themselves out of the sight. Cyprian in a spot to try to get this. And Famous gets back to back, make it a triple. He shuts them down. Minimize and what? Need to clear out 3 and get this defuse. Minimize good for the first, but then it's going to be Berserk's holding it down.
And we're back. We are. Hopefully the game will be back soon as well. For those of you guys who are just tuning in, we are in the middle of this first best of 3 for the night here in Bangkok, Thailand for VCT Ascension Pacific 2023. It's a battle between SCARZ from Japan and NAOS Esports from the Philippines.
Yeah, and we just talked about their composition. Right now, it's Esports implementing a very interesting Sage pick, but it also leaves them without any real flashes. You've got Omen, you've got a Paranoia, but that is about it. Meanwhile, it's going to be SCARZ with a more traditional composition. You have exactly the KO that could counter this Sage.
Yeah, and of course, kind of the KO 𝘼𝐿𝐴. That's a go-to. I mean, this is one of those maps. I remember I was joking with Paper Thin about this a couple weeks ago, where this is that one map when you say, well, they're playing the typical 5. Everyone knows exactly what 5 agents they're playing, and SCARZ will stick with that. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. Strap into your seats, because we are going into map 2. SCARZ currently leading 1-0, looking to send yet another team home and shut down their dreams of taking their place in VCT Pacific. NAOS Esports, they choked at the end of that first map, but they're looking to have another strong start. See if they can continue forward now on this attacking side of Ascent.
I mean, very well could be. If you're thinking about, yes, the Sage impact from NAOS's previous game against one team, yeah, with 24 kills. 𝘼𝐺KIN also had 24 kills in his game against Orangutan.
Yeah, I mean, high kills on both sides, and 𝘼𝐺KIN's looking good, but I want to point out NAOS Esports, they're piling on to 𝘼𝐺 in terms of credits here, supplying him with that extra pistol, just going for the double cloud bursts as well, so they want to pop in, have 𝘼𝐺 just take control of the site here with the Frenzy, the half armor, and double cloud burst. He should not be dying instantly once they go for the entry. Just checking for an early peek with the turret. It's just a 5-stack. They're committed to this right away. Recon bolts or not. Crystal not ready to fight the initial entry. He's just going to have to try to survive. And 𝘼𝐺 just buying time. They get one ping. They don't have information on another. Oh! 𝘼𝐺 just gets a domed right in the face by the Sheriff. I mean, that's not really going to do, be able to stop the Sheriff there, but still the entry happens here for NAOS Esports.
And that's when we see that barrier or being used just to block off lane. It's a good way to, kind of corner yourself into the site and maybe play around some of these artificial corners or walls. But look at how SCARZ are able to come in through this. It's a bit of a space, and newitz finds one shot.
Yeah, I mean, just a cheeky little angle. He's trying to go for another. He gets a second one as well. And it's going to be NAOS Esports with 3 members of the live picking up the Sheriffs and the Ghosts. And they get the first pistol yet again. Now, we got to remember, started off this way on Pearl. In fact, it continued for 7 rounds before SCARZ eventually won 12-10.
It's a very scary thought to keep thinking about, but like you said, you want to reset that coming into this game, at least if you're on NAOS' side. But look at how they actually approach this B push. Oh, by the way, that is there are a couple of Game Changers players in the crowd.
Oh, I'd love to see it. I mean, we've had a lot of people, whether it's other pro players, Game Changers players coming in as well, streamers, influencers, cosplayers. There's some crazy cosplay going on here. We've got that KO walking around, ready to pop that null command now. Right here, NAOS Esports piling on those rifles. They want to try to snowball it as much as possible. However, SCARZ, they're going to win the 50-50 guess this time. A 4-stack in Boathouse in the back of sight on B. NAOS, are they ready for this? Do they know? They spot 1. They spot 2, but there's more. And Yoshi says, welcome to my home. I'm still here. But they will eventually clear him out. 𝘼𝐺KIN last alive with a Sheriff.
Not too bad. Good bit of damage. But also just NAOS knowing how to respond to it. Yes, they lost New York Carl, but it's not the worst thing in the world. 𝘼𝐺KIN now with the Sheriff looking for some heads to click on.
Now, we've seen him do something similar when they were playing against Orangutan, right? Where they were on this eco. It didn't look like he should do anything, but 𝘼𝐺 says this time it's a little different.
विंग्स भाई के टीम पे आपका नाम लिया मिस यू भाई मैं समझा नहीं पर
point on the board for NAOS Esports leading 2-0 continuing the attack. Just going to go with
a,
just typical bonus right. They bought up in that second round, so they'll keep those Bulldogs and that Phantom.
Yeah, and it's a very versatile composition right now for SCARZ as well. Yes, NAOS gets to hold on to their weapons, but how are you going to use that now with a fully equipped SCARZ? They're going to continue to play safe, and they have so many options to, if they want to push up, going for a tiles crunch, an A-main crunch, they could. NAOS has to consider all of these in mind, and now, 0 point down, it does tag up 𝘼𝐽𝐿.
Yeah, NAOS Esports, it looked like what they were wanting to do was if that 0.0 one-way doesn't come out fast enough, go for another ult, right? Wit's currently only 2 points away from that resurrection. However, the one-way is going to stop them. I mean, they don't even have the better weaponry, not exactly great flashes like we talked about, only that one paranoia. So they say, okay, the Omen KO duo, they took over A-main, let's go back to B where things have worked out. Quite frankly, just a couple kills and the spike plant, maybe Witz gets that resurrection, that ultimate on the stage, it could be very valuable.
Oh. You still got Yoshi on the other side though. The defender spawn, and he goes in for the spray. Catches up onto 𝘼𝐽𝐿, and then the recon coming through from Crystal. A shock dart as well. Witz is gone, and now still trying to make their way onto the side. Spike not yet planted because they're facing so much contention just coming out from market, coming out from defender spawn. Yoshi finding yet another, and now they're pushing through. 𝘼𝐽𝐿 tries to hold it from lane. He will be able to find the first, but that is it.
It should be it.
Gone.
Yeah. Only 25 HP left here for 𝘼𝐿. Sure, he's got the Phantom, but yeah, just need to be a little scratch. It's in fact going to be a headshot coming out from Torneko, and SCARZ will answer back. An excellent anti-bonus, only dropping one member. It's 4 Vandals and Phantoms still in the hands of SCARZ's players.
A successful round just to bounce back, and look at how they actually played around it too. They knew off of that tag that there is a chance NAOS might double back into the B site, and that is why we see the Killjoy Yoshi just hiding up by defender spawn. The spray timing was kind of nice. And also the way that they retook it, because as soon as NAOS tried to push through, you had so many more players knocking at their door.
And once again, I mean, I don't see any reason why SCARZ would ever really change this Killjoy setup too much. I mean, maybe a little bit of shifting with the alarm bot in mid, maybe bouncing back over towards the site on B, but so far, that one-way 0-point combo on A main, there hasn't been an answer for it from NAOS. Now they're finally looking to get a timing here. Now, if SCARZ really wants to just keep this, they should be able to refresh this perfectly at least one more time, but it doesn't look like he's preparing for that just yet. And we're going to see it yet refresh. Torneko just puts that up there. And the paranoia as well. Okay, well, they see the drone coming out, so they just push it back. And really, the name of the game here for SCARZ is
गंदा utility usage किया है, flash और nade use कर लिया.
If there's any further movement, you've already pushed up in mid. 𝘼𝐿𝐽𝐿 planted right now in the middle of the site, right next to 𝘼𝐿𝐽𝐿. Oh. And 𝘼𝐿𝐽𝐿 gets that kill, and that means we can let them come into the site as well. We're still holding in the back. Torneko says, don't worry about us here on the site. Oh my god, they're not even going to get the kill on that.
Oh, bhai.
And SCARZ up flawless here in round 4. NAOS Esports, you can't start falling apart this early if you want to try to make this comeback.
Well, this does force NAOS into a bit of a tricky spot, but they get to buy up one more round, so it's not the worst thing in the world. However, thinking about how the plays went through, right? Look at how SCARZ played contact. They gathered information. They threw out pieces of utility just to buy time, burned down the clock, like you mentioned, Will. But they saved just enough to hold against the site push coming out from NAOS. You have Allen, the KO, with the flashpoint, and he times it so well, along with Torneko, just to hold.
And once again, now finally, speed being the answer to try to combat the one-way combo. However, they have the ping on Allen. I think it's even a 2v1, and Allen just says, thank you. This is why I used the Phantom. Sprays down 2 headshots, and the entry is stopped. That extra round of buys that you mentioned, Quack, falling down the drain. 3 members left. You don't have a jet, you don't have flashes, you don't have that paranoia anymore. Sure, you have the resurrection. Ooh. Is there an angle for it, though? It's not gonna happen. 𝘼𝐿𝐽𝐿 will just shut everything down. 𝘼𝐼𝐿𝐽𝐿, we've seen him do crazy things, but it's starting to look more and more difficult, Quack.
3, one on top, one below.
Yeah, over under. That's the hardest one, and they knew that exactly. SCARZ shutting down NAOS's advancements once again, and NAOS Esports already on the back foot, both in this map and this best of 3.
The only way I could see anyone ever making that shot is if you get the first one on top and then you bring down your crosshair so fast down below, maybe the shot actually hits the second player.
Well, you know, I just want to throw this question out to 𝑋𝐈𝐍𝐿𝐼𝑜, if he can remember on the desk. What if you use the Odin and Hipfire on the bottom person and the spray goes up to the top person and gets the headshot? Hey, I'm just saying, all right? I'm just saying, but that's for all of you guys to figure out from home. Currently,
the main thing still, though, is how SCARZ is defending. I mean, you talk about Allen, you talk about how they actually fall back off that relay system, and Jemkin wants some kills of his own, but then you've got Senior Carl now finding a pick with the Marshall.
Yeah, it's a nice early kill. Shuts down a lot of that info that SCARZ is wanting to get so they can cycle through their abilities. You also already at least gain control of a main itself, but you're gonna need a bit more. You really need this mid control if you want to get into the site, and SCARZ knows that exactly. Oh, the flash timing as well for the peek out from Jemkin. I like the idea, and they don't over-aggress. They're gonna still hold down the site. The paranoias get the spray down. 𝘼𝐼𝐍𝐿𝐼 gets one trade, but it's not enough. Senior Cole already so low, so is 𝘼𝐺𝑒R. Now left all alone in tree, 18 health, and that's not nearly enough.
Let's go, 𝘋𝐈𝐍𝐿𝐼!
4-2 in favor of SCARZ.
Mar!
I'm not gonna lie, Will, this does not look good for NAOS.
Yes. I'm laughing because I wish you guys could see us on the desk, because I just see Quack like just having muscle spasms as he sees NAOS Esports trying to get into the site.
It doesn't feel good. You know, the way that they're playing right now, you want to see them find some rounds, and SCARZ are doing such a great job at countering everything that NAOS are throwing at them. Yes, it was a bit of a pick from Senior Carl, but that was about it. As soon as that happened, everyone else tried to push through A main, and it was just a blender. Again, it's SCARZ. They know how to shoot. They know how to hold down a set. And with all the multiple positions, all the angles being watched, it was just that much more difficult for NAOS to find duels. That's the thing about Ascent. It can be very heavily defender-sided if these choke points are reinforced and set up. So, timeout being called, NAOS, they might need some form of an execute or to explore other options on map.
The problem here is, though, Quack, I like what you're saying, is that in theory that's what they need to do, but with that composition we have to go back and look at it. You don't have the flashes, right? So you don't have these mini tactics you can use to creep up close to the site, and that means you kind of have to walk in, go for a dry peek, go for dry contact, win that first duel, and then go in. Otherwise, you might have to really commit that paranoia early, and then you're out if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, that's the thing that you don't want to do. I do think that we saw a tiny inkling of what NAOS were about to attempt with this Sage, because that's the one thing that you can use with the Sage wall, right? You prop yourself up, you give yourself a little bit of vision over some dark covers from Torneko. It's an attempt, it's an idea. The thing is, your execution, again, like 𝘋𝐈𝐍𝐿𝐼 was mentioned on the desk, it has to be perfect.
Yeah, and look at this. They're changing things up. They know that NAOS, yeah, all that's worked for them was this B site so far, 2 times in the beginning of the map. And they shut things down. The angle that Crystal takes just absolutely denies any potential. Now trying to speed through, but the alarm bot is going to spot them. NAOS Esports, they have no intention of stopping, though. This was never meant to be a scouting mission. It was meant to break open the site. Already through on Switch, they close it. And the main force not able to enter just yet. 𝘼𝐺𝑒 finally coming into support. Meanwhile, 𝑉ix, he's pushing out. He gets 2. That's enough to slow them down for the time being. They even planted 𝘼𝐼𝐍𝐿𝐼 in market. But SCARZ, they pushed up the tempo. Now Allen all alone. 𝘼𝐺𝑒 getting that clutch kill against Yoshi. Otherwise, 𝘼𝐼𝐍𝐿𝐼 may have been too late, but now it's a double angle. And Allen has no idea as NAOS Esports tries to claw back with a 3rd round.
Just trying to go a little bit faster than how SCARZ would have been able to react. NAOS with a B split push, they managed to make it work. And also, I think a pivotal part of that round is how 𝑉ix actually played around that dark cover in the back of defender's spawn. So smart, so careful, and as soon as that Odin sounded off, he peeked out. He got a couple. Everyone else, though, on the site, I mean, once you got that pick onto Yoshi, Allen alone, it's just way too tough.
Yeah, and I just want to add on to the point you just mentioned, 𝑉ix. Of course, we've seen that timing, but also on top of that, what that did was really kind of fake out 𝘼𝐼𝐍𝐿𝐼's position, right? You don't expect someone to still be a mid if they're trying to push out, you know, towards defender spawn. So that's something they can try to continue to use in the future. Jemkin, he's looked good with the up today.
Oh, shot, man.
How does he get the second one? I was gonna say the first kill, but Jemkin just doubling down and impressing us back to back. Making this a 5v3 already, only 30 seconds into the round. And now Esports once again. No Sage, no way to get that wall for some unique angles. No Jet. Here's the flash drive. Okay, they don't hear too much contact, so SCARZ is backing out. I mean, this is what we're talking about. SCARZ, sometimes on Ascent, they start to play safe. They say we have the numbers advantage. Okay. Yeah, we'll just let you through. I mean, I love this from SCARZ. It shows a little bit more adaptation than just go, 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 W Gaming. Not, nothing against that, but obviously it's done very well on the international stage as Alan waits for the smoke to clear, gets that kill onto 𝘼𝐽𝐿. Quack, this round looks like it's all but done. 5 members still left alive for SCARZ. All ultimates if they really needed it as well. Under being cleared by the fragment. 𝘼𝐼𝐍𝐿𝐒 cannot sneak in an extra kill. All right, 𝘼𝐼𝐍𝐿𝐒 does some damage, but Alan will be able to finish off that round.
Precisely like you mentioned, Will. Very apt analysis. Thank you, Kowalski. Because you can see all the numbers, all those bodies being thrown at the site.
No, I think SCARZ to close कर देगा.
Your opponents with numbers. There's nothing much.
भाई ये जमकिन ने क्या शॉट मारा है भाई विट्स भाई
को. Presence from mid, everything on the map was turned into a choke point. Thinking about how the previous rounds have played out, it's a lot of Alan around A main. NAOS does not want to explore that anymore. They go towards mid. You got Jemkin with an operator. You go through Garden. Alan's there this time. How do you work your way around this? You tried approaching B, and maybe that was your one bit of success towards the first portion of the half. But now, all these adjustments coming through from SCARZ, NAOS has to find a way just to bulldoze through.
Oh, and they're hiding the operator here on B side. Oh, never mind. He tries to get a cheeky timing away from that drone. Just going to let them know of the operator position. And Jemkin will promptly reposition. We see this a lot on Ascent. There's so many angles you can hold with that weapon. Meanwhile, Alarmbot's still alive in mid as well, but Jemkin's just there to support at long range.
Guess we just cracked through it with the tailwind onto the top of Generator. But again, look at the SCARZ composition. Look at SCARZ positioning. Just playing right around Garden. You've got Jemkin watching the angle. 𝘼𝐿𝐿e, however, a bit of a lurk towards B. He finds that first pick off. Jemkin with a wallbang onto 𝘼𝐼𝐍𝐿𝐒 too. Yeah, the defender lockdown now in place.
Yeah, the lockdown wasn't cleared coming up for 𝘼𝐼𝐍𝐿𝐒. He tries to go for it, but he stopped, and Alan's still alive. They can start tapping the spike right now, and it's another over-under to protect their teammates. Crystal good for one. Jemkin will miss that. Yeah, I mean, I think so, because Crystal, he doesn't really have an option.
क्या राउंड था भाई ये.
Absolute clean execution. And that's a clutch if I ever saw one, Quack. What a way to continue locking down the rounds. The shock boats have been good.
I can't believe that happened. First of all, you think 𝘼𝐼𝐍𝐿𝐒 was
0.1 second
just about to make it a win for NAOS, and then Crystal comes back through. What a clutch, what a champ. He just threw that shock dart and then landed the shot on top of the barrier orb. It's just tough for NAOS now because so many rounds lost and come and gone. You have to think, again, that pressure. You want to represent the Philippines.
Oh, man, that was a rough round because it just looked like 𝘼𝐼𝐍𝐿𝐒 just did enough damage to stop them. But alas, all of the ultimates being dumped by SCARZ. They do their job, albeit maybe not in the fashion that they imagined. But it's off the back of the captain, the 𝘼𝐍𝐿𝐒, Crystal. He's been the one who's buying them the time for players like Jemkin to come back online and really become the superstar in the lobby.
I mean, we saw that yesterday. We're seeing it today. SCARZ is a team, a force to be reckoned with. NAOS, however, taking it slow. They've got some ultimates. They can make something happen here, Will. Not a lot of noise. And that's the same thing about SCARZ again. They're playing so far back. They're intentionally giving up this bit of space. They're letting their turret take contact.
Yeah, and they know, right? They dumped so many of their ultimates, so they just say, okay, let the lockdown happen. But they have the lineup. Is it going to go through? The Nano Swarm and the fragment. It's good. They don't even have to empty the site. And now Heaven backfilled up on the side of SCARZ. The paranoia comes out to buy time. Only 30 seconds left now, Esports. You have to break it open by pure gunpowder. You have to go in. You have to win your duels. The Omen teleports through. 𝘼𝐼𝐍𝐿𝐒, he wants to be that hero. He needs to be that hero currently for the Philippines. 𝘼𝐿 protects the door. They will be able to go in. They should be able to get the plant. Right now, SCARZ, they have to wait for Jemkin to show up and potentially use those blades to open up the site.
There is that potential. However, SCARZ, Crystal, pushed past a certain position and he might be able to find a couple of picks. He gets the first, and then Senior Carl trades. Now trying to waterfall off the top of heaven. Senior Carl watching the angle gets taken out. It's Jemkin off the charge. Allen flicks back upwards, and now down to a 1-on-2, both in beneath hell. He gets the first, and then 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 with the Guardian protects the site.
I nearly knocked my chair off the stage, Quack, because I freaked out when he flicked over to 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿. But you got to trust in 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿. He's been good for NAOS Esports. Puts them back on the board. I mean, momentum-wise, it seems like it's been very heavily SCARZ. I love the setup for Mojer here as well, right? I mean, you gave the information, both of them are heaven. He goes in for the flank. He's good for one, and that just allows it to be an advantageous duel in terms of numbers. 2v1 still left alive here for NAOS Esports, but they're still behind. Momentum seems like it's always in favor of SCARZ. However, it's not that far off, right? I mean, currently 4-6. If you get to like a 5-7, you go over to defense with the Sage. NAOS Esports is feeling very, very happy.
Definitely wouldn't mind that. However, these rounds are won through duels and sometimes relying on 𝘼 to crack sites open. That doesn't happen every day, especially when SCARZ are positioned outside of A main. Look at this setup. They want to throw down flashpoints and fragments if this one-way smoke is being peeked through.
Yeah, and Allen just aware of the fact that there might have been that omen that Shadow steps across. 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 has not just a bit of that fake out. The one-way, Allen's still using this one-way. And then he checks. I like the timing, right? You wait to see if 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 has jumped across. He hasn't, and you clear out that the Jett is still there.
And you know they're around this spot. You know that Allen's on the other side too. Shrouded step forward, and Jemkin hears this as well. I think SCARZ are prepared for this.
Oh, they absolutely are. And Allen was not cleared at all. 𝘼 only looking to the left. Didn't have a chance to quite clear the right side. Allen stuck in front another as Yoshi draws the attention on the other side of the map.
Oh, my.
With a 4K, they never stepped foot into A site as SCARZ goes up to 7.
1, 2, 3, and to the 4 kills in this round. A 7th win for SCARZ, and they knew exactly how to play. It's a counter Jett position. Seeing off that 0 point, hearing the shrouded step, it was an execute that was open up. And they read it like a book, and SCARZ played it all the way through. One more round, and it's gonna be an 8-4 will. SCARZ looking incredible.
Yeah, the operator still in hand for Jemkin as well. The Odin returning here for SCARZ. That B site does not look penetrable. Meanwhile, the operator just rotating right away. They get a little bit of utility contact on A. You still have that alarm bottom mid. SCARZ, they want to shut things down. They know that if they get that first kill, I mean, NAOS' composition, NAOS' esports, they don't have a lot of firepower to break through.
And that's precisely why we see these players positioned like this. They're playing it safe, minimal exposure. Anyone peeks out, and that could be their head. Jemkin was watching for Wits to potentially prop himself up on that wall, but nobody there. Now it's going to be 𝘼.
And it's going to be 𝘼 who gets in. However, there's a lot coming out from the other side. The
oh, bhai, Allen, bhai.
But Allen is still there this time on the other side. It's the left side they had to worry about. Jemkin flies high into the sky as Crystal finishes off the entire first half, and now it's an 8-4 scoreline for SCARZ. This is why this team is so scary, the way they play off of each other in terms of duels. It's not absolute crazy set plays with the utility, but just the way they come in.
Oh my God.
Just the tempo and the clearing one side under the other. You see Allen, he gets the kill, he backs back out, Jemkin jumps up. Meanwhile, Crystal's here to support. I mean, how do you combat this if you don't win that first duel?
You just can't. Well, you're also looking at a bit of Lady Luck shining onto Allen, right? He just held that angle. Such an important anchor for SCARZ on their sites. Watching it through as NAOS peeked out. 2 players side by side. They got domed. And with SCARZ playing in this fashion, such momentum going through, flowing through their veins, it's just like
60-40 कौन जीतेगा 60% आपके हिसाब से?
And what does that mean for NAOS? That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't stop that momentum nice and early, and here's the thing, they tried. Yeah, Wits, he's kind of racking his brain. He's trying to figure out how they get back into this. You can see the pressure starting to get to these players, even some of the more experienced ones here on NAOS Esports, like Wits. He's trying to hold it down for the team, but you don't quite see a great opening. Now, let's be honest. It's Ascent. You're on defense. You've got the Sage. I know it's an 8-4 scoreline. However, if you win the pistol, suddenly things are looking bright again. You got to focus on the future. You cannot focus on the past. And now Esports, let's see what they have planned for us here on this pistol round of the second half.
Clean slate. This is precisely how SCARZ came back just a map before. It's not impossible for NAOS, and they're starting things off with a clear 2-1-2 setup. You got Wits watching out for B main. He can put up that multi-panel wall that will block off the entire portion. However, SCARZ bypassing it, exploring middle instead.
I like this idea, right? It's not going to be too common for the Sage to be here. The wall's already up in B main. Senior call, he gets contact, and he tries to peek back out, but they're already spamming through the wall with the headshot. Are they aware that Jaw is here? Was this enough of an Oscar-worthy act? No, it was not. Jaw gets checked. Wits now alone with the slow art, but they say we will just jump all across that pond. And now the Sage down as well. B-site opened up. Now Esports desperately needed this pistol, and it's already down to a 2v5. The door is closed. It's very, they hear both pistols here coming through market. SCARZ has all of the information they need.
Crystal's just watching the angle too, waiting for it. They peek through. Unfortunately, not timed together. One for Crystal, one for Jemkin. SCARZ makes it a flawless pistol win.
Well, we talked about the hope if they could get the pistol, but now Esports further on the back foot, now having to crawl and climb back into this map, into this best of 3, in fact. They're just a couple rounds away from being eliminated, from continuing that hope of bringing Philippines another slot into VCT Pacific to try to take their place. Meanwhile, SCARZ, we just saw Masters happen in Tokyo, and they say we want to continue that hope to bring Japan into the spotlight once again on the world map of Valorant, and it looks like they're very well on their way to do so.
A very different style of Japanese Valorant. So much firepower off of the pistol. They bring out those rifles again, Will. They are out here to destroy.
Yeah, the Marshall on top of it as well. I mean, anyone peeks out, they are gone in a second. Now Esports, they go for the same 4 stack here in the back of B, but SCARZ, whether it's because they did the same thing or not, it looks like they are leaning towards that A site. I mean, they're just not seeing any information.
If you're NAOS in this round,
maybe they don't even need it. They managed to guess the right site.
Well, now they'll get confirmation, right? You see this turret way up this front, unless it's some elaborate ruse. Clearly, this is where the Killjoy is just trying to buy time. Even the paranoia being used, SCARZ, they're not taking any chances. Nobody's home. But the utility there just to secure the site. They still are watching their flank with the turret as well. SCARZ as safe as they can be in this post plant. Now, yeah, 5v5 retake with the classics. Not too much to work with. They do have that one paranoia, though.
I don't know if that's going to be enough, Will. Again, just the firepower. Your contacts have to be good, but respecting the space, they don't want to give up ultimate points. We can see that. But Jemkin, oh god,
they're gonna
this bloodthirsty team.
They're gonna greed for this with these rifles in hand, SCARZ. I mean, I predicted you to win, but this is just a little cocky in my opinion. However, Allen, he's trying to close things out. They still win it. Now, it does come at a cost. But hey, you bought 4 rifles, you keep 2. Maybe it doesn't feel too bad if you're SCARZ right now leading 10-4 on Ascent.
I mean, if you're leading at this point with that many rounds under your belts, every single one counts a little bit, an inch forward towards match point, and I guess that's precisely what SCARZ are looking for. Doesn't matter the cost. Still, though, you have to think about what it means, because now is with a full buy, SCARZ with slightly broken buys. They are on the attack, though. If they can find picks, they can retrieve weapons, Will.
This round has to be about ult points here for SCARZ, right? Because if you committed that much to try to secure the round, shut down the opponents, get those ult orbs, you got to continue that ult economy, and they're doing so. Yoshi, Jemkin get one each in the middle of the map. They now not only get points to their name, but they also stay ahead in numbers 4v3. 2 Bulldogs and a Vandal trying to creep towards these extra weapons. Allen should be able to pick that one up. They're going to just toss it over. Everyone now upgraded. And SCARZ, they say, no. The name of the game wasn't about ult points. It's about this map. It's about this best of 3. It's about getting to the grand finals of VCT Ascension Pacific.
I think it's about kills, Will. I mean, look at Jemkin. 16 6-0. And so careful as he approaches down in towards market. Might have heard a bit of a shuffle. Wits takes him out instead.
This is good information, though. It stops him from mid. So Mojer just has to focus here on to B main. However, the Shadow Step comes through, but he cuts off the second line of entry. Now Toroneko slightly stranded. Allen's coming to support, but the slow warp keeps him at bay, and Wits just sprays through after he sees the flight path up the fragment. NAOS Esports, they are not quite done just yet. A 5th round on the board.
Billy qualified. Itna fatapat.
To the next round.
Just shutting the door in SCARZ' face, they deny that entry. Off of information gained. Sometimes it looks a little bit lost, but with little bits of movement, with tiny frags, bit by bit, NAOS is
first map he closed था रे, बाकी दो map तो टपाटप दे दिया
इन्होंने. The first pick and then to rotate back around. They confirmed that information. They knew with a slight micro time to peek off of, and with that,
क्या बोल रहा है?
just one round. Maybe just a start.
बोलूँ ना?
Yeah, we'll see if they can continue it. I think something that obviously now
Billy
you don't
too
want to
strong.
get too ahead of yourselves. You just got to focus round to round. However, you have to watch out for SCARZ trying to pile on their ultimates. If you find a way to bait and
इधर से कौन जाएगा
whether
champions?
it's by economy to force the plate storm, something like that, then you start to really put the pressure onto SCARZ to say, well, you haven't quite gotten map points just yet, right? I mean, trying to pile on 3-4 ultimates at once isn't going to win you the map. You still have a little ways to go. Currently just giving up the control with
कौन
that
जीतेगा?
alarm bot watching it. Of course, rifles all still bought up with the half armors here for NAOS Esports. Jaw gets taken out first. It's got to be a double for Allen. He has been on fire on that KO here on Ascent. Now Wits, the wall is still up on a main, but he's going back into sight. He's just trying to get whatever extra kills to buy time. The mind games, will they work? Wits steps out, steps back in. He's good for one. He's peeking back and forth, and that's a triple. Senor Carl now here in time off of those triple kills. The drone forces Toroneko off the spike plant. He's trying to bait them out, but will get that kill. Senor Carl on the Silva off the back of the triple from Wits.
Just a bit of a celebration for NAOS. A second win in the second half. They bring themselves back a little bit closer. Looking at
China qualifier का final guys permission मिलेगा नहीं.
They go for some of these contacts, trying to not necessarily out-duel SCARZ, but they're getting information off of these plays. Wits then knows how to work around it, just anchoring down these positions, especially when he's given a bit of cover to work with.
13-5, 13-2.
Trace FPX को हराया ना?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the weaving in through that smoke and SCARZ. This is what they did on
Trace ही हराया
into pressure. They turned things up to 11, of course, and Eco as well. But the blade storms down, and now it's just a couple pistols and a stinger that can't put a candle up to the
क्या बोल रहे हैं?
अरे मैं देख रहा हूँ मेरे आंखों के सामने व्हीलर खुला हुआ है.
Sorry, Trace ने attacker soul esports को हराया.
Next to the stage in Bangkok, Thailand. NAOS Esports now only 3 rounds away from SCARZ.
SCARZ tries to break past this door, but now shuts it down in their face one more time. It's still going to be a bye for the next round of SCARZ, but with the way that they're now trying to push past, with the way that they're now trying to rush out against NAOS, this team looking slightly more prepared. They are able to answer back.
That operator still in the hands of Jaw. They sneak him in, but the gun wasn't quite ready. He's good for one. bhavinkotwani here to support. They are able to save their operator, bring him back into the site, shut down a main.
अभी समझ नहीं आ रहा इनको करना क्या है.
For SCARZ, they don't have much to work with. The recon bolt will spot them in mid. Senor Carl, he's just checking for B main, but if that's not there, they're going to back out, group up. I love this from NAOS Esports. You have the numbers advantage. Don't go into these unnecessary 1v1s.
No need to overpeak, right, Will? He's just watching the angle too.
Oh, but the smoke, puts pressure on him. He's chosen his side, left or right. He's just going to wait for it.
We still got Senor Carl on the other side, but no! Ja, he overpeaks it, pulls out a side too. Yeah, but Carl is here to find those frags. And then Crystal enters back and pushes through. We've got the res coming up from Wits. They're thinking that he's probably up front on the site. Crystal's going to use this momentum to slowly sneak back up. Watches the angle, however, tags him down to red HP. Scott with the angle, wallbang punches through him. And now it's now 8 to 10.
What time हो गया भाई उसको?
Sure, Jaw overpeaks a bit, but they had that resurrection in the pocket. They didn't quite get to use it.
वापस जाने का कोई इरादा है मोलो?
भाविन भाई आप इधर हो तो मेरा दिल इधर है. इधर और कैसे जा सकते हो?
Not only the round wins, but the economy win you can. and that forces just a bit of a numbers advantage against
इतना तो
Crystal. You also
मेरी
have,
माँ ने भी प्यार
of course,
किया
another
नहीं
member of now
But मैं करूँगा ना भाविन भाई. I'm here to change things between the both of us.
Back round by round. Can they take us through a third map over to Fracture? We'll have to wait and see.
4 rounds in a row so far.
भाई ऑफ सीजन के लिए मिक्स टीम बनाते टाइम पास में खेलने के लिए.
अच्छा प्रीमियर बेटा भी खेलते हैं.
इंडिया डोमिनेट कर लेंगे टाइम पास के नाम पे.
वन पे प्रीमियर बेटा भी खेलते हैं. जाओ
देख बोलो अगर वो
प्रीमियर बेटा खेलते हैं. अरे मालव टीम कोच करेगा क्या?
नहीं मालव मैं तेरे को एज अ कोच पूछ रहा था.
मेरा हम लोग कर रहे हैं भाविन.
मेरे को एज अ प्लेयर का ऑप्शन नहीं है.
नहीं अभी के लिए नहीं. इंडिया इज नॉट रेडी फॉर यू मालव.
अभी सब में ट्विटर पे इसलिए डाल रहा हूँ. एनएफटी एज अ प्लेयर वाला ट्विटर. कोच नहीं सीधा प्लेयर.
Now, do you want to continue your analysis? Because I quite frankly don't remember what you were saying. But I do agree with what you're saying overall, right? Is that SCARZ, okay, they're kind of throwing all the things that they usually do. Doesn't quite work out. Will they change the tempo here with the ultimates? Now,
White Swing TV.
This is that round that NAOS Esports had to watch out for, right? Where the ultimates are piled up. However,
Swing it, baby.
because like you said it, they won 4 in a
फिर
row.
बहुत copyrighted
Even if
phase हो
SCARZ
जाता है.
wins this, they're not at 12. They're not
साई भाई का नहीं है वो गोपी भाई का है.
साई ज़्यादा इस सकता ना. तो फिर द क्रेडिट से उसे देना पड़ेगा ना.
Copyright अपने को सब फ्री है.
सब फ्री है. भाविन भाई का राज देख रहे हो क्या शहर में?
Clear it now. Anytime you hear that happening, of course, you gotta start to wonder. Is this
जल्दी
the
चला
setup? Not full buys on the
किधर
side
चला
of
जाएगा
the
जल्दी?
We should mention just trying to even out economy for the next round. They spot the push out from
क्या किया भाविन भाई
SCARZ.
आपने
They
आज
have to
फिर?
make up their
उठ के?
mind. They decide to take whatever
आज
advantage
उठ
they
के
can here
अभी
in
वॉच पार्टी
mid.
कर रहा हूँ. कल बीबीबी का एपिसोड खत्म करके निकला था.
कल बीवी के साथ क्या?
बीबीबी का एपिसोड खत्म किया एक.
अच्छा नहीं मैंने बीबी सुना इसलिए कंसर्न हो गया.
They are just trapped for
But they're not
SCARZ here
concerned.
in the middle of the map. Now they quickly clear out.
Shot, Yoshi.
Wins that duel, but Senor Carl is there to equalize. However, that off has been dropped.
एक
He has
frag
to
मिला
make a
तो
choice. Do I just go
commit the
back into
outside.
sight? Yes, they do. They give up the weapon. It's still going to be SCARZ who has to dive in. So they say, let them keep the operator. Whatever. We want the round. Backup already arrived on the side of NAOS Esports.
Mojo now holding out from defender spawn, has a position to spam through, but it also comes down to Senor Carl, how he anchors. He hears them drop, he tries to go for a spray. Crystal, he tries to fight back, but that's all you
ये
can
क्या मार दिया इसने?
It's here to say that it's lights out.
सब बराबर ही जिससे मरने ना क्यों उधर खाली.
मेरे को लगा एक तो इनका सिटी देखता रहेगा 3 लोग घुसेंगे पर ये तो 4 ही घुसे और सब
सबको सुला दिया उसने.
The first headshot is good, and he gets 2 more to rack up 4 total kills in the round. Nice reset on that third one, and that buys just enough time for Mojo to enter safely, clean up the round, give them yet another point on the board. Now 10-9. I've seen this somewhere before, Quack, and it was only about an hour
इन लोगों का तो
ago.
केवल भी क्या?
Oh man. Still, SCARZ
big
gets the
loss.
fourth.
हाँ इन लोग पागल की तरह ऐसा केवल यूज करके जाएंगे. मेरे को मालूम था पीछे से भागते भागते यूज कर रहे थे. ना ऑब्वियस कर रहे हैं कॉल किधर जा रहे हैं.
Still in the hands of Ja. He tries to rotate back around. A bit of mid presence once more from
पेपर
SCARZ.
जर्सी लगा.
Yeah, it's interesting that they didn't even set up any utility here. Now, of course, Ja comes in just in time, but does he know Jemkin's close? The timing. Oh, it's actually going to be Allen
Nice
who
shot,
meets
Ja.
the operator first. And with the KO down, no true flashes on the side of SCARZ either. No way to really lock up these potential ultimates on the side of NAOS Esports either. SCARZ, they're on their back foot.
NAOS are trying, and they're actually doing a good job at denying this space. Now, information gathered because of the barrier orb. So many resources spent just to take down those panels. Wits has so much information off of this too. SCARZ is trying to look for that opening pick, but anytime they peek out, they could be shut down. Wits forced to fall back, and Ja's on the other side. Crystal confirms it, so they decide to push back in towards B. They're using this lockdown, but here comes that Hunter Sphere from Senor Carl.
I like the way SCARZ have been playing recently.
And Moser just holds his ground. He will get detained, but it's buying enough time and even out the numbers for the time being. He'll eventually die. However, he made it possible that it's a 3v2. Wits has arrived. Crystal, he's been on fire the past 2 days, Quack. A little scared here. The Blade Storm just to draw out. Oh, and the paranoia support. But Crystal just tucks away. Torneko on the other side. He goes for the trade.
Nice flash.
Does he know the exact location of Papi Chulo? He does! Ja, he's been healed up. He's got the blades at the
Shot.
ready.
1v1. But has smoke now.
Oh, and he goes for the double blades right in the chest of Toroneko. And it's going to be tied up as we hear the cheers for NAOS Esports. 10-10 scoreline on map 2. NAOS Esports trying to take us to a third
Not everyone knows how
map.
to play around smokes.
Even through and through. Calm and collected.
They don't teach.
Losing
They don't teach that.
We
They don't teach that in
just
school.
crouching, sending
They don't
those
teach that.
blades to collect onto that win. NAOS.
गुस्से में क्यों था भाई
Play,
लेकिन तू?
such a good idea. Now controlling the map much better than before. Off of Josh operator. You still have to work against this.
भाई मोजर को 2 नहीं मार पाने चाहिए
Look
थे.
at how Crystal almost turns this round around on its head.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a force to be reckoned with, but I love what NAOS Esports did. It's in that past round what we saw was eventually they still got contact on Jemkin from the turret into market, and they just say, okay, let's just flood the sites. And on A side, push out of main because they basically.
मुझे भाई डिटेनो ने पहले 2 उड़ा दिए.
On B, we saw them trying to fight away from potential lockdown. Eventually, trade for trade with the lockdown and the Hunter's Fury. But hey, they won the round. They also drew out both the lockdown and the Hunter's Fury over from SCARZ. I think NAOS Esports might be in the advantage now, finally, here on Ascent.
Yeah, in terms of resources, right? You just force your opponent to show their hand, spend those cards. And now NAOS, knowing that they have a slight lead in terms of this. Having that space now, same setups, blocking everything off. This timeout means so much for SCARZ. They have none left, Will.
They don't have any. I mean, it's do or die time now. Also, I mean, there were a lot of NAOS Esports fans that were somewhat disappointed in the ending of Pearl. So the players on stage for NAOS Esports, they can't get ahead of themselves just yet. You're not quite out of the woods just yet. You just barely tied it up 10-10, just like we saw SCARZ do on map 1 on Pearl. Now it's going to be a 5-step from SCARZ. They want to rush in with these half-armors. They're just going to pile on through. If the op is there, they will go for the trade now. We see the op is in mid. 0 point to clear. The speed, it's all the way turned up.
हाँ?
Oh, and the up there response, yeah.
कैसे पे करूँ तेरे को?
मत कर बोल यार फ्रेंडशिप इज
ओ भाई.
And then his teammates cover him fully. NAOS, they secure that 1-round lead.
What a just heads up prep here from NAOS Esports. They were prepared for the potential rush. Now, we didn't see them fill in the site, but the 2 members in mid, as soon as they heard the utility coming out of B main, what we saw, of course, we get the ping here, but we also had seen off the screen, Ja
Hey, not this fast. They have been taking mid.
Trying to bait on the Sage wall, I guess.
Ja lands, gets a kill himself, like you called, Quack, and that's just a quick shutdown. SCARZ, the whole fast tempo rush that they've always kept in their back pocket to bring the momentum back, it's now been shut down 2 times on this map. Now with the lead, 11-10.
Jemkin buys up a Vandal on this round, however.
User joined your
channel.
क्या मैं तेरे को दस आए?
हाँ? क्या रील पोस्ट करता है? मस्त रील है सीधा.
मजा आया?
मस्त है.
बोलने में तो नहीं है.
Recon Vault will be able to give him a little bit more information, but unfortunately,
this
opposition is covered up. They are looking to make this
last 3 years से बैंगलोर में याद ही नहीं है मेरे.
With that Killjoy
तो फिर समझ गया ना अभी कौन सा सिटी बेस्ट सिटी हो गया.
Needs to hold on to mid. He understands the mission, right? You think you can buy a bit more time here on the site of B.
देख रहा हूँ भाई राउंड में कब से
Watchparty करता है कुछ बात नहीं करता है टीम देखता है.
शॉट भाई.
ये शॉट तुमको भी दिखता है. एनालिसिस करो भाई.
एनालिसिस भाई नहीं करना है.
एनालिसिस के लिए एनालिस्ट को लेके एनालिसिस के लिए एनालिस्ट को लेके एनालिस्ट का
ओए एनालिस्ट नहीं एनालिसिस कर रहा है.
बादल पर सब कुछ नहीं कर रहा.
देखा तूने गेमिंग चैंपियंस गया भाई बिली.
हाँ भाई.
They know that someone has to be tied up there.
बिली
And now it's the full force coming in through main. Alarm bot taken down.
3-0.
There to buy time Mosher. Can he delay
नहीं यार forced Killjoy retake is that what NAOS want to do here?
Oh भाई.
Clear mid for his teammates.
चुला दिया मोयर.
With that shot, Crystal
Crystal भाई.
बिली बिली गेमिंग.
बिली गेमिंग.
अच्छा है भाई.
No choice but to push through defender spawn.
चलो मैं
Maybe market as
फटाफट
well.
भाई नहीं रुको किधर जा रहे हो?
क्या मालव गायब होता रहता है भाई.
हमारा अभी तो घर पे है अभी.
भाई अभी कौन सा रेजोल्यूशन खेल रहा है?
To set it off.
थोड़ा चिलिंग करना तो बहुत थक गया, बहुत चल के आया हूँ माटूंगा।
क्या किधर गया?
चल गया माटूंगा क्या होता है भाई? वेजिटेबल
कैरेट बीटरूट जूस।
ओ क्या वो पका है भाई? शेक जगह में पूछा मेरे लिए कैरेट।
भाई ये गेम कमबैक पे कमबैक हो ही जा रहा है।
माटूंगा is the South Indian part of Mumbai.
साउथ इंडियन तो मैं हूँ।
हाँ तो
It is the Mumbai South Indian hub.
हाँ, but from what I've heard, it's very unauthentic South Indian food.
भाई मोजेर भाई तो उड़ा रहा है भाई।
Wait, Rossi, what is the best South Indian food in Mumbai that you've had?
भाई साउथ इंडियन फूड। साउथ इंडियन फूड।
इडली from Ashok.
अशोक का डोसा।
नहीं
अशोक का मसाला डोसा।
अशोक का डोसा अच्छा है भाई।
अरे इन लोग ने बाहर खाया ही नहीं है साउथ। ये खाया हम लोग टैंजोर टिफिन रूम खाया।
हाँ वो मजा है भाई, बट बहुत एक्सपेंसिव है।
हाँ।
बहुत कम क्वांटिटी और एक्सपेंसिव है।
खाना अच्छा है।
अच्छा है।
Rossi तो तभी माटूंगा जाएगा।
ये मालूम तू किधर रहता है रे मुंबई में?
वापस कब जा रहा है?
Close to Bandra नहीं है क्या वो?
हाँ, 15-20 minutes to Bandra, which is my favorite part of Mumbai.
क्या है भाई Bandra में ऐसा?
बैंड्रा में क्या है भाई?
Bandra, I don't think many parts of Mumbai do coffee better than Bandra.
क्या? वापस बोल।
कौन बैंड्रा में कौन सा कैफे तेरे को पसंद है? कौन सा कॉफी पसंद?
सबको बोका बहुत ग्रेट। I went to Boca like 2 days ago.
तेरे को कॉफी पसंद है इसके लिए बैंड्रा पसंद है।
बैंड्रा में रेस्टोरेंट्स का जो वाइब है वो मुंबई में इजी है।
रेस्टोरेंट तो बहुत है भाई, वो तो है। इसके लिए बैंड्रा पसंद है मतलब पता नहीं।
ए भाई
लेट्स गो।
भाई क्रिस्टल को हेडशॉट लगा पर वो मरा कैसे नहीं?
मेरी ठरक बहुत कम हो चुकी है।
उसने हेलमेट लगा के आया
सीएसगो खेल रहा है ना केवलार।
पोपा मैं क्या बोलता आप सीएसगो खेलो स्काई स्पोर्ट्स में।
पागल है क्या? चालू है ऑलरेडी भाई।
हाँ स्मोक वोक डालो उधर माली।
अरे कौन जीतेगा पता है ना भाविन वो टूर्नामेंट?
कौन जीतेगा बता।
मेरा मैक्सिम से डिफॉल्टर का टीम मार्कोस गेम ठीक है।
मार्कोस गेम
उसमें मस्त हामिद अच्छा लगता है मेरे को। हामिद
कौन है भाई?
मतलब मेरे लिए तू बहुत अच्छा लगता है।
घोस्ट 666।
ओह हाँ हाँ मेरे को पता है उनका रोस्टर।
मुझे क्यों पता है? क्योंकि जब भी रुक जा मैं बाद में बात करता हूँ।
नहीं बता लॉन्च
ऐसा क्या?
ये क्यों ऐसा मॉनिटर है भाई?
We've seen this scoreline before, Will. Is it going to go overtime, or will NAOS push us into map 3?
I think NAOS has a really good shot because here's
आधे से ज़्यादा लोग
Wits has been having to use his utility a bit early to gain control of parts of the map. However, SCARZ has not been able to capitalize on it as much as they could. Sure, they got the kill on Wits earlier, but they weren't able to really push through and keep the numbers advantage. Meanwhile, early
NAOS
kill win
franchise
used
baby.
by Jaw. And SCARZ, they say, okay, we just go fast again, but the paranoia this time, it's pretty
सुना है ना जो
coming up from
क्वालिफाई होगा अगर को और अच्छा नहीं रहता है तो सिर्फ प्लेयर को लेंगे लीग में और को नहीं लेंगे।
प्लेयर्स को लेंगे ऐसा बोले।
हाँ तो पहले मेरे को ऐसा लगा था कि असेंशन जो और जीतेगा उनका हाथ में वो लोग लीग चले जाएंगे और प्लेयर्स को ऐसा थोड़ा लेमन स्क्वीज करेंगे। पता है ना आपको तो पता ही रहेगा। तो ऐसा हाँ बट अभी ऐसा नहीं कि जो इंटरव्यू में एक तो बोला कि अगर और जो क्राइटेरिया मैच नहीं करता है तो अगर वो लोग ऐसा क्लीन प्रैक्टिस नहीं है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में ऐसा वो लोग को नहीं लेंगे, प्लेयर्स को नया और ये लोग ही दिलाएंगे ऐसा कुछ तो ट्विटर में देखा कोई तो मुश्किल था।
चलो भाई फिर तो
अगर और के पास पैसा भी नहीं रहता है ना फिर भी ऐसा राइट उनको मदद करेंगे ऐसा सब कुछ तो ट्विटर।
अच्छा फिर तो फ्री एजेंट टीम बना के चलो।
हाँ जा सकते हैं तो ऐसा बहुत लोग ये रहते हैं ना ऐसा फोटोज ने डाला था ट्विटर में ऐसा बहुत लोग जो इंटरव्यू दिए थे बट लास्ट राउंड तक नहीं पहुंच पाए ना और को ऐसे देंगे ऐसा कुछ।
अच्छा
चलो पैसा तो इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया मैं
चल
भाई क्या scripted लग रहा है पूरा
We questioned
भाई
comeback
तो चालू
Global Gaming Champions पहुंच गया
Global Gaming
सेकंड गेम है ब्लीड वर्सेस
बूम ये लोअर ब्रैकेट है कि नहीं
नहीं डायरेक्ट सेमीज और फाइनल
KDP सीरियसली
हां
तो ऐसी आउट है अभी
कौन आउट है नहीं 1-1 हुआ है अभी तो अच्छा तू अज्यूम ये कर रहा है क्या कि नाओस जीतने वाला है
नाओस तो फ्रेंचाइज
बिली गेमिंग
एडवर्ड गेमिंग
2 मिनट आया वॉशरूम में क्या है
नहीं अलाउड नहीं होगा
ओ भाई कौन है भाई केस बुला रहे हैं
ever want to count these guys out. There's just so much that they can do. First of all, yes, now with the comeback, we see how they control the map with Wits blocking off so many entrances throughout A main, but also Crystal with some of these insane clutches. The ones with the shock darts.
Yeah. He had some good shock darts, right? Whether it was getting kills or just absolutely clearing out angles and getting damage down. I mean, even just holding flanks with the Sheriffs, we got to continue to praise this guy. However, right now, the focus was over onto NAOS Esports. It was about Wits, it was about John, it was about Senor Carl actually answering back on his own Sova as well.
I mean, so much pressure still between both teams because the third map, Fracture, honestly, I feel like it's a bit of a toss-up.
I think it very well could be, right? It's not exactly the strongest map we've seen from either team here in Ascension, but this is also a map that can really go either way. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for map 2. We do have another map between these two teams, but before we go to that break, to bring you Fracture, we're going to hop over to Komodo to break down one of these crazy rounds that we had here on Ascent.
Thanks once again, guys. Of course, this one that I've chosen is not going to be necessarily one of the most crazy rounds that we do have, but it's going to highlight here the difference between these rosters in form of the KO and the Sage, and one of the challenges that NAOS actually face when running the Sage on the attacker's side here. So round number 4 is the round that I have chosen for this one, and it's going to be in the form of 4 players from NAOS stacking around the A side of the map, and 1 player in 𝘼𝐽𝐺 playing Lurk in through towards mid. Now his safety is going to be where his utility does actually lie, the alarm bot and the turret, to see if there's going to be any aggression on the B side of the map. And that's going to give a lot more importance for SCARZ, in fact, to keep an eye on what's happening over at A. Now, I mentioned the Sage for a specific reason here. Because this is only a Sage and then an Omen, where the Omen has that paranoia, it's a single point of flash. So a lot of times what we are going to see is for a Jet, either a cloudburst to go up on top of the generator or in toward the site, and a dash. What that enforces is that your paranoia in combination with a recon bolt has to be placed down to a T. The timing is going to be so important to come through from NAOS, and this is one of the rounds that timing goes a little bit woeful for them. With the dark cover that we're going to see SCARZ place in front of main a little bit later on, it is actually going to give the idea to SCARZ as well that the Sage wall that Wits has can be placed along the back wall of main. So with that timing, we can now see over at the A side of the map that there is that dark cover. So the idea is going to be for SCARZ to get some information. Of course, we know they're not going to be pushing through the B side of the map. We know 𝘼𝐺𝐺 is lurking in mid for NAOS, but what happens at the A side between Tor and Neko is going to be really important with the paranoia, because that was already thrown over towards main earlier. That flash is not there. However, the KO flashes are still going to be there, but most importantly, a 0 point. So keep an eye on where that is actually going to be landing from Alan, because that reveal just there towards main highlights so many members of the NAOS squad that Toroneko himself, here at the back of sight, is actually going to move under towards Hell. Because when the dark cover actually looks to fade, you have to know if there is going to be a Sage wall at the back. We see NAOS love to use that Sage wall all the way at the back to get a bit of a bird's eye view in towards the site to help when the dash goes in from 𝘼𝐺, to also help assist 𝘼𝐼𝐺𝐿𝐿𝐿's flash, the paranoia. But unfortunately, it was read way too well from SCARZ with 𝘼𝐺𝐺 falling in mid. Here goes the cloudburst, the paranoia that we just saw go into the site. And unfortunately for poor old 𝘼𝐺, Alan's underhanded flash drive is going to completely blind him there, and that is just 2 players, essentially, with a bit of assistance late from Crystal in towards the site, able to lock down A, highlighting a little bit of a difference of what happens when you run a Sage on the attacker side as opposed to a KO like we saw from SCARZ. At the end of the day, though, map goes over towards NAOS, which means we get a 3rd one in this series. Can't wait to see that one, but first, we got to go to a break.
Golu-chan! Golu!
You have good taste, my friend.
Welcome back, Valoranters. We just finished map 2, and just when we thought it was going to be a 2-0,
Shabby Didi!
no, we got a defensive plan here, and for anyone doubting our Sage play the second time around, well, it's proved to be completely fruitful, and they, bring us to map 3. So how do you guys feel about this? I know there are a lot of questions about the team comp. It worked for them in, some of the
कल है Bings भाई का game, Amit.
Going against SCARZ, we didn't think that was going to work again. Even I was a little skeptical.
Yeah, I still don't like it. But they were able to get the win. But I mean, SCARZ just, it seemed like at times they were getting in their own head. They were challenging fights that they absolutely did not need to. Go back to Toroneko trying to hold that defense against, I think it was Ja, the last player standing. He could just wait for the spike to get tapped, but instead he swings on the corner. He's got the blade storm out. Ja takes him down. And it's just like, just wait until he gets onto the spike. He's not pushing you. Play this out patiently. But they were challenging time and time again, and they were not getting the better of the members here from NAOS. So I think a bit disjointed here from the side of SCARZ, and they definitely need to clean things up if they want to win on Fracture.
Yeah, I mean, it was, actually, if you look at the scoreline, I think SCARZ out-fragged just barely NAOS overall. So, the scoreline very tight between all of them. Senor Carl had some just huge multi-kills on the defender side. But Wits, to me, like, the way he plays the Sage is really, really fascinating. Again,
बहुत irritating है भाई लोग टीम डेथमैच सर्च करके.
The scoreline very tight between all of them. Senor Carl had some just huge multi-kills on the defender side. But Wits, to me, like, the way he plays the Sage is really, really fascinating. Again, on the attack, I talked about it beforehand that a lot of times he's using that wall to cut off the angles.
क्या कर रहे हो गोलू-chan?
Angles that they have to watch on the post plants, or get the information at the very least to which direction they're trying to come from. So does a good job of that. The pistol round, they won that. The opener on the attacker side with a wall like that, just cutting off the close alley on the B site. But on the defender side, you know, he's able to use it to get information. He's able to use it to kind of play for himself as well. He sets up these walls where he's able to kind of trick the angles, or if they're trying to break the wall, he's able to find an angle where after it breaks, he's able to find some kills right away after it. So things like that, really impactful for them. Of course, he's still got some of those like cheeky walls and sort of behind.
If you think about it, it's no wonder you're all so capable of hurting each other. After all that practice on me.
He got caught a couple times where he would like throw a wall down and then they'd pressure.
That's not ready.
But for the most part,
That's not ready.
They maneuver themselves, particularly on the defensive side.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Let the killing begin.
SCARZ had a lot of good frags here. You can even see first.
Reloading.
I don't think so.
Reloading. SCARZ is gonna do. Jemkin is obviously gonna go for that first pick. And
Do better.
Somebody's there. One down. Nice. Oh, there.
Map 3.
Golden.
I win again.
Reloading.
Ready.
New stage in 10.
Back off. Curious to see if they make any adjustments in that regard and maybe try a double duelist setup here.
Stage 2.
That's not ready.
Team deathmatch खेल रहा हूँ भाई.
A gift.
Dizzy's up.
Reloading.
Ultimate orb spawn.
Away.
I'm good for 3.
Could see some changes coming through for both teams, frankly.
Headshot.
New stage in 10. Stage 3.
Next.
Just see what they do piece together with their
Cornball.
Away with you.
Oh भाई.
So close.
Charge your ults.
They are so dead.
Ah!
Setting up your duelist, setting up.
10 seconds until stage change.
Not. That's not ready.
Final stage.
Teleport's ready.
Get out of my way.
They're dead.
Joke's over. You're dead. That works. They found my trap. The hunt begins. That's not ready.
चलो पापा राइट खेल दे जल्दी
नहीं थर्ड मैप के बाद खेल सकते हैं थर्ड मैप अभी चालू होएगा
One less.
फुल फोकस में वीडियो अरे अरे
हाय हाय
Phoenix kills.
अगर वो भगवान आपको मस्त शूटिंग दे दिया होता है दुनिया का नंबर 1 प्लेयर बन जाते आप
अरे ये तो टाइम पास में खेल शूटिंग है उतना अच्छा नहीं है पर है अच्छा
हाँ क्या
हाँ
और ऐसा आप बोला तो मान ले
I tend to disagree.
Oh sheesh. Oh sheesh. Chimber कुछ.
ओह है चलो भाई
लोग मेरे साथ
अभी लाइव जा रहा है
यार डेडिकेटेड हो भाई
भाई एक क्या लाइव
to win to get to the grand finals to continue their journey to take their spot at VCT Pacific next year. Now
बात तो सही है सोचो ये एक गेम करके बंद कर दूंगा
हाँ रैंक पॉइंट खेलो भाई
हाँ वही करूँगा
the north side of the map here for SCARZ, and they're all grouped up on the bottom side.
I mean, definitely one thing that I'm always counting on from SCARZ' side, apart from, you know, the fragging power of Jemkin and Crystal.
पापा आपके लिए ज़ॉम्बी स्पॉन्सर
so far throughout the tournament as this anchor player. Torneko
बराबर
हो गया भाई
and they can
नहीं भाई
with this composition on this map, watching the flank,
स्टील
the rest
के
of them poking
स्पॉन्सर
up the front throughout A main.
Okay,
Still
so
case
they're just gonna
bolte.
walk right into A main, like you said. But here's the thing: the spy cam. As soon as it spots someone, they were ready to push in, but two people get tagged by the 0 points. So now Esports, they have no reason to push any further out of Dish. They will now just wait for contact. Wits, he finds one. No reason to push out. You still got support over on Dish. Yeah, they sneak in, but are they aware of the potential forces coming out from Dish? They try to put it down with the smokes, and they're just trying to get the plant down. Crystal, are you really going to creep in here on the pistol round? The Patios go right above him, and oh, he has no idea. Trying to plant the boom, but it's 3 kills right off the bat here for SCARZ. And
bro.
To do some damage.
खत्म कर डाला खत्म
For Mosier, just a classic in hand, and he cannot do any damage. Torneko will close things out.
SCARZ just scratched this round away from NAOS in this first part, and you can see exactly how, right? It just comes down to Crystal with that kind of sense to kind of go out throughout Dish. He saw those paint shells being popped through, and as soon as, I guess, Josh tried to continue out front, trying to deny the spike plant, he got ripped apart. I mean, that's what this map comes down to essentially, right? Not necessarily prep between the two teams, but just a full-on clash. How you play it back home, how you play it here on this stage, you just got to go for it.
Well, now they'll go for it once again over on the Dish side, this time with the help of Wits on that KO. The 0 point clears it so that they can push out fast. However, Spy Cam on top of a tripwire will greet them over on the north side. So SCARZ, they say, okay, we know that they're coming. The tripwire's still there to buy time. They're going to get the orb. And yes, as soon as that wire gets hit, they say, okay, well, they committed to the push out. Let's go back over to the A side.
I like how they're watching the rope as well. In case NAOS just decides to pull out a sneaky, beaky play through. However, instead, it's just going to be a full-on gamble. The A side completely left open for SCARZ to plant their flag down. Now it's going to be a bit of a slow retake on this one. And I feel it's probably going to be the same scenario where they just kind of hold out exits, maybe die to the spike. SCARZ, they might hunt again, Will.
They very well could. I mean, it is the first half, so we'll see if they continue that trend. Right now, they're just going to wait on those long angles, and it looks like, especially with the smokes coming out from NAOS Esports, just to kind of protect themselves from that aggression, SCARZ says, okay, we respect it. We're not going to get in too crazy. I mean, especially trying to push into this defender spawn. You have so many close corners you got to clear right away. And now Esports also says, player calm, right? There's a lot of rounds we got to get through. At one side has to get to 13 first. It's a long time coming. However, Crystal is on the hunt. He has already went all the way through the flank. He's trying to see if he can find a kill. Okay, he's not going to greet it too much, though. And they will just pile on through. And it's going to be 5 men going down to the Spike 2-0 lead for SCARZ.
No alt orbs for anyone. All right, we're going to hold on to it. If I can't have it, you can't have it. But also so smart from Crystal. You can see that NAOS are trying to play close contact in case SCARZ does decide to push out front. And Crystal kind of has a sense for that too. We don't have that big of a lead yet, so we don't want to do that way too aggressively. Next round, it's going to be the full buys from NAOS and just kind of reapproaching how they set up across the site. Not so much presence towards Dish and not so much of a gamble. It's just a 3-2 split.
But look at this read from SCARZ. They say this might be the time when they try to focus on the south side. The Spy Cam and Tripwire will greet them over on that side of the map. And they're now just pushing through Arcade, and this is strictly because it's their bonus. They don't have as good weaponry, so they want to go in for the close quarters combat. They push through with the Boombot. Mojer gets one, but Wits, he cannot hold tower or the site.
Shut down.
The site now opened up, and it's a 3v2 numbers advantage here for SCARZ. Now Esports, they're going to split 1-1 to try to go for this retake. If one of them goes down, that's the rifle given over.
All three inside tower? And Ja hears some drops.
Here's the drop. He gets one, he gets two! Can he find the third? No, but gets the information. The aftershock to buy time. Yoshi, he's going to use it for the mind games. He's saying, all right, well, you got to make your decision first. Senior Carl, he'll definitely stick the half, but will he stick it all the way? No!
Oh, bhai!
What was that? Off of the stun, he lines himself, prepared for the repeat. And Senor Carl, a much-needed, desperate win here in round 3, because quite frankly, damage already done and dusted from SCARZ.
And such an incredible retake off of it. You had SCARZ on rifles. They definitely could have won that round. But with all three surrounding tower, I think it just put too many eggs in that one basket. Thankfully, you had Ja right around the back, hearing that drop in Senor Carl with the quick reactions to hop off the spike, getting that final shot through. It's 1-2.
Yeah, and they will be able to buy back up with the half armors and a couple bulldogs, whatever rifles you can get your hands on here for NAOS Esports. He gets contact. You can't stay there right now. Ja throws the paint shells just to buy time. But that's an early paint shells taken out, and they cannot regain control of main just yet. So they'll climb back up to Dish. They already saw the main force in main. Just regain whatever control you can. Make sure you don't get pinched. Oof. Oh, they're actually just going to go for a full-on pinch on the north side. It looks like Arcade being pushed out. Yeah, by 2 members as well. Now, Allen's not positioned to take the rope right away. Oh, he hears them moving away. They have no idea that Allen's here. He gets a free kill, and the ult orb not even taken by Senor Carl. He's just buying time. Surely Allen goes down at some point, but how much time? Yeah, how much time can he waste away? Okay, Ja shuts that down for the time being. Now the plant goes down by Toroneko. SCARZ already positioned for post plant. 2 in the site. Nope, just 1. 3 in main. 2 dodge away from the 0 point. Can Jemkin hide away for long enough? They're trying to spam it. He says, no, I'm just pretending I exist. He just lets it pass. He wants to get the diffuser. The half not quite done yet. Buys time as Crystal gets the kill onto the door, and it's just bhavinkotwani left. We've seen this so many times, but today it hasn't been as successful as Yoshi cleans up. 3-1 lead for SCARZ.
And you can see precisely why. That spike was planted slightly out in the open. So although bhavinkotwani tapped onto it to try to bait out some sprays, his opponents, his opposition, they could see that he was actually not diffusing fully. And it's just so smart with how SCARZ were holding like this. That delay from Allen, although he didn't find that many kills, right? It was so much information for his teammates to know, A-side is open, guys, we can rush in.
Yeah, I mean, just simply being a distraction, a nuisance, quite frankly. That allows SCARZ to continue the momentum they want. And they continue to switch up north and south side, and once again, it's going to be Crystal who opens things up. In fact, just takes out Ja. Now, of course, NAOS Esports not on a great buy economically, just a Guardian of Wits. He'll put it to good use. He is caught for the time being. Yeah, cannot survive. Door back open. And they're just trying to see, are there any more members? Yes, there are. They get pinged. SCARZ, they're just committing though. They say we have better firepower. We're already committed. We can just go for trades, shut things down.
Stimbeacon, run and gun.
Senior Carl will get one to his name, but eventually goes down in another quick round for SCARZ.
Again, firepower all the way through. SCARZ dominates. And you can see precisely how they just bulldoze and break their way through the A main area on towards A side. No matter how many players from NAOS are around, no matter how many guns they have, they just can't outduel them unless they pick up the initiative somehow, somewhere. Just holding the angles, it wasn't going to happen.
You have to start wondering, Quack. I mean, now they're trying to wait for contact. It does look like we have a timeout, which I think was much needed, but they're trying to wait for contact and then go for these duels, right? These semi-trap plays, but however, you're losing that first duel right away. You're not getting contact, you're just falling over. And at that point, you lose that control, or you have to use all your utilities just to stay alive. You're already on the back foot.
And that's what we kind of saw on Pearl, the first map. NAOS always somewhat unable to hold certain areas of the map, and if they fall in those numbers, it always hurts their chances of going for that retake. And we don't want to see that scenario happening. With the way that they played Ascent, it was very well adjusted. They got information, they set up traps, and they knew how to work off of it. That needs to be implemented right now onto this map.
Yeah, well, the timeout, it couldn't have been any better timing. We're talking about the cash. Surely they're talking about something similar now. However, what's the final decision? We'll have to wait and see. Rifles will be bought back up, continuing with the half armors, making sure they can just get a couple more rounds to their name over the course of the first half. Now, SCARZ off the timeout, they change up their default. They're not piling all onto the north or south sides. They just want to check for aggression from all points of the map. And eventually, I mean, they have some good openness. They also have two members 1 point away from their own ultimates as well. SCARZ, they could just play a very macro, big picture game here on round 6.
And that's why they're taking it slow, too. Off the timeout, you almost always anticipate that your opponents will do something crazy, something wild. But instead, both teams just kind of holding a bit of a stalemate. NAOS not overly peeking, just trying to find that information or contact. However, this kind of favors SCARZ because cutting noise, they silently go for a journey under tunnel. Are they going to rendezvous, regroup with Crystal?
Yeah, they're just trying to clear that out, right? Because Crystal does have that Nightfall, so if you can regroup, you can definitely always go for a site execute all together. They've now cleared out. 𝘼𝑒 and Crystal will creep forward. You still have that tripwire on both sides of the map to watch your backs. Allen still holding next to SCARZ. He's just trying to make sure that no one creeps out of it. And the Nightfall, Allen's here to receive. If they try to escape, but Allen already gets one kill. He gets traded out. But meanwhile, it's going to be the showstopper from both sides. Neither getting kills just yet. Jemkin will find one to his name right at the end of the timer, though, as the fuse goes down. The plant is in. The spike now just awaiting for NAOS Esports' retake. But it's not looking strong. Only two members. You still got a Rolling Thunder, and even the Orbital Strike available for SCARZ. So many places you would need to clear, and you have to do it so quickly. You gotta tap this. These ultimates early. The 0 point doesn't catch him either. They're just waiting for the ultimates to come out.
ये map के बाद बंद कर रहा हूँ
We
भाई.
will save that for another round. Paint shells go down to buy time as well, and Wits. At this point, you just get whatever kills you can and try to see if you can get out of it. And Crystal knows that's the plan. Crystal and Tornado, Crystal will clear it out. 5-1 lead for SCARZ.
गेम देखता रहता हूँ, पर गेम में कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग होता है तो बात करता हूँ. अभी क्या पूरा टाइम हल्ला करता बैठूं क्या? और लोग रहते हैं जनरली तो बकचोदी होती है ना, डिस्कशन होता है. तुम भी नहीं देख रहे हो, अकेला ही देख रहा हो, तो क्या ही करूं?
That just blows up in front of NAOS's faces. You have these ultimates, and they
तू कर कम सोलो ऐसे गेम देख, वॉच पार्टी कर.
Even in that final moment, you see how SCARZ are able to kind of pinch onto a single person. NAOS needs numbers, and if they don't have it, it's just tough.
Well, this time they're trying to make it happen with a fast push out, and Crystal says, peace out. I mean, I know my limits as well. Here's the thing though, Quack, even though they don't get the kill, you gotta applaud NAOS's ideas here, right? Just to try to get whatever advantage they can. Oh, but look at this, Jemkin. He's continuing to push in so hard, so quickly into the defender spawn. And now they have to worry about approaching the site. Now they do have all of SCARZ Locked into it, but Crystal, another cheeky idea. Oh, waiting for the second ping. He doesn't spam it. That fakes him out, and he will get one kill to his name first. And now it's going to be Allen waiting again. He hears him going in through the cyber cage. Oh, and they are trying to break through. Okay, they will get into the site, but they still haven't cleared main. Two members there, orbital strike available. Fault line's not going to stop that one. Pain shells as well. There's just so much utility. Quack, they have to run away.
I mean, what else are you going to do, Will? You keep pressing on. It's going to be that orbital strike. You had Jenkin with the paint shells from before. It's so much from SCARZ just being dumped, being thrown at NAOS.
And you still have that orbital strike, right? You still have your own. 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 used his to try to push into the site, and it worked out. But didn't
और भाई कैसा है तुम्हें मैं ठीक हूँ 5 मैंस होगा क्या हाँ बाद में खेलते हैं टेक इंस्पिरेशन फ्रॉम स्लिगी स्लिगी क्या करता है Analyze these games and give us a perspective of an IGL attacking side पे क्या है वो तो अगर वो सब करता हूँ ये वो कर सकते हैं it's not that like someone needs to ask me questions तो मैं करूँ खुद ही randomly blab करता जाऊँगा तो भी अजीब लगेगा तो जब हम लोग सब लोग रहते हैं 4-5 लोग तो questions पूछते हैं तब मैं फिर जवाब देता हूँ अभी देखो लास्ट गेम में फर्क क्या था नेओस वालों के सामने इन लोग ज़्यादा यूटिल यूज कर रहे थे तो नेओस रोटेट कर रहा था अभी इसके लिए इन लोग सब जगह वॉक कांटेक्ट कर रहे हैं और नाओस को प्रेडिक्ट करने नहीं दे रहे ये सेम चीज नाओस ने उन लोग के सामने इसमें किया था पर्ल में किया था अभी टिट फॉर टैट कर रहे हैं
We'll just plant our names on here. Jemkin will get the early kill off the peak from 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿. Witz trying to equalize whatever he can through the door, but Allen, he's been on fire. We've mentioned why he's been such a good anchor, and now even on the attacking side, oh, John not able to check the angle. He tries to distract him long enough, but there's just too many members with rifles on the side of SCARZ.
Again, and it comes back to it. It's
नाउस के लिए बहुत हार्ड हो रहा है गाइस प्रेडिक्ट करना नाउस ने लास्ट ट्राई भी किया पिंचर करने को पर लाइक SCARZ वाज वेरी वेल अवेयर क्रिस्टल जो था वो अकेला था ये साइड पे फटाक से रस्सी पकड़ लिया उसने a lot of anti-stratting is involved in this also
well we did just see as we're watching the replay highlights operator bought for 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 that should give them a couple more options to work with here on the defensive side see if they kept it as we go back into the game here going on to round 9 and yes the operator being held on a main
just watching in case anyone peeks out of that sky smoke very probably deployed by 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 SCARZ just taking it slow too I mean if they cut noise again they might be able to bypass this operator from 𝘼𝐽𝐿 they might be able to just surprise the anchor players on B site. And this is why it's so important for 𝘼𝐽𝐿 to actually play tower position so well. He hears that information, he might be able to peek off of it, but if he stays alive too, he might be able to delay them with his lockdown, but oh, here it comes.
Oh, but the rolling thunder, they even have the orbital strike if they need. 𝘼𝐽𝐿, he can't get the kill. He couldn't raise his crosshairs in time as the stun locked him up in tower. Now Witz denied from trying to fill up the site to flood it. But now Esports, I mean, they have the null command, but they don't have much to push them away. And SCARZ says, you know what, we'll even take this time to get an extra ult, or Crystal now only 2 away from the Nightfall. And SCARZ, they're just waiting to see, is there any further aggression from NAOS? Witz with a great kill though, shuts down the flank. The fragment to buy time and a high flash drive to stop the aggression coming in. He's trying to make an opening for his teammates to come in through Canteen and spawn, but the spike will get planted. 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐿 gets a nice catch on the exit.
Still though,
ये अल्ट यूज करने के बाद कमिट क्यों नहीं किया मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया
possibly drop out his incendiary. Now moving quicker on the retake. Crystal holds the angle. What? As they try to cross, he finds the double. And now Nightfall being spent. Witz is down to 1 HP. He can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Information gained.
ओ भाई ये कैसे भाई ये क्या चल रहा है पहले SCARZ का राउंड था फिर वो थ्रो हुआ नेओस का राउंड हो गया फिर वापस SCARZ ने निकाल दी मैं तो अभी खेलने का बात नहीं कर रहा था हम लोग तो ऐसे फन में खेलेंगे अगर
Senior Carl, he does what he can to catch the exit to equalize the numbers, but Crystal, we missed it out during the game, but there was just a quick 2 headshots and a third one as well. Toraneko with the quick rotate after the molly. I mean, SCARZ was always 2 steps ahead of NAOS Esports.
That was just unbelievably impressed by how sneaky Crystal can get sometimes. Maybe he goes in with an operator on a raise. Maybe he sneaks through Sky Smokes. Now on towards A main. It's a bit of early contact, and Crystal finds the trade. This could be a site. And there's that dish hold again.
Yeah, and here's the thing, the whole half armor thing, I mean, a couple rounds, you got a couple saves from NAOS Esports, and they haven't really been able to make good use of it as a team. And right now it's just Witz. He's caught with the hot, he's been spotted, he's pushed to the point, he's running away, back turn to the enemy, and Crystal says another kill. That's already 4 points towards my next Nightfall, trying to get yet a third one in the first half of Fracture. 8-1, absolute massive lead for SCARZ, about to turn into a 9th one.
On this map too.
बेचारा क्यों हाँ बहुत
It's like another day in the
अत्याचार
office
हुआ
with
है
Crystal right now. They try to push out A main and it's way too obvious. Moser only good for one and Yoshi trades.
मैं तो सीधा Alt F4 कर देता हूँ. क्रिस्टल का लोग देखो एम पे उतना नहीं खेल रहे. देखो एम पे खेल रहे पर हाउ लाइक वॉक कांटेक्ट कर रहे हैं ना. ट्रेड किया देख. ये ट्रेड था. अभी वो एम लेके बैठा है. सामने वाला आ रहा है उसके एम में वो मार रहा है. उसका स्टेडी एम है. एम मतलब ऐसा नहीं होता है कि कैसे बोलूं. वो हेडशॉट मार रहा है सब कर रहा है पर वो आराम से खेल रहा है. आराम से ऐसा घाई नहीं है.
They have that operator back in
What should be NAOS approach? I think they need to fake pushes so that SCARZ can come back into their setup. मतलब misinformation देना पड़ेगा. कैसे बोलूँ? इधर stun करके deep smoke करना है. For example, stun किया deep smoke किया ऐसा उनको लगने दो कि deep B में और arcade का setup लगाओ. Something like that.
So SCARZ says we don't need to check. Don't take the risk.
And op चाहिए.
That defense up around A main. In fact, the push, the spike is up around B. Now with 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐒 peeking out, he will be able to find that first head. However, the rest of the forces have arrived, coming out from tree. Crystal will be able to answer back. Hiding inside the Sky Smoke, Allen actually gets the flick onto him. Witz is trying to deny the spike plant by playing up in and around the smokes. He flashes out, he gets yet another. However, jumping back and forth, it's going to be Crystal! Again! He finds them as they try to cross. It's all up to John now, 1-on-2. He's got the operator. And he's trying to hold, he's trying to make sure that they don't make their way onto the site safely.
Yeah, they're going to rotate, though.
Still so much time, Will.
Exactly. I mean, they know it's the operator, and they say, well, don't try to cross back in across the scope. Let's just go the other way, because quite frankly, for Ja, the best idea is to stay on B. Otherwise, it's a gamble. He even used the Nightfall to make sure he's not holding that angle. He's not quite there yet. Torneko will enter safely. And Torneko doesn't even have to leave the site. I mean, you have main control here from Crystal. Ja, he just wants to creep out forward for an early shot, but he's only going to get his toes burned for that one. Oh, and it's just a timing peak.
Crystal by too good.
From Crystal and Torneko. The third Nightfall used to secure another round. 10-1 lead for SCARZ. Can they make it 11?
I mean, such a good procedure. You look at how they work their way through the map. Crystal, spike plant, holding up by A main.
And here's the thing, Witz, I know he's trying to do whatever he can as a leader of this team to bring the confidence back, but that's also forcing him to play alone a lot of these times, right? He's going out with these pop flashes. Yes, that's why KOs and Skies are strong, but if you can't get 2-3 to your name, you're not really adding ultimate net value positive here for your team. NAOS Esports, listen, it's not over just yet. If you're a fan from the Philippines or even from across the world cheering for NAOS Esports from the Philippines, they need that support more than ever. But currently, it looks like SCARZ, they're going to get one step closer. Here comes the showstopper, 𝘼𝐽𝐿𝐒. He's cleared out SCARZ. Okay, there's a trade, though. Senor Carl, he's been putting up some good kills on these early trades. Site's still opened up. However, main, yeah, controlled by Moser. Now, Crystal, is he going to sneak into the smoke yet again? He's looking for it. Allen's just drawing their attention. There's the neural theft. Ja, he's gonna get pinged, and there's the peek from Allen. A Cypher true and true, this lockdown. And hasn't quite found the timing.
Oh my god, look at them.
Moser doesn't want to use the lockdown to just give away his position and also maybe make them force this aggression. He wants to make this a 1v1 first. He spots one. Oh, but the Han just to draw time. SCARZ is playing so smart, Quack. They just don't want him to stick the defuse and the peek over along with the Prowler.
GG है guys ये game.
Wow, 11-1 first half, and quite frankly, that last scene, that's what SCARZ is. They know how to get the advantageous peaks, the advantageous duels, and they are always one step ahead.
It's a bit of a mental scar for NAOS too. If I close my eyes right now, Will, I can see that precision
straight face लेके देख रहा है
भाई अभी तो बातें कर रहा था समझा रहा था लोगों को अभी देख रहा हूँ क्या मस्त मजा आ रहा है
That's the type of foundation that you really want to see from a strong team, because here's the thing, your set plays, your abilities, oh hey, there are a couple of our friends.
They don't look very happy.
Hey, but they're keeping up the energy, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Astrite still has faith, I see it, all right?
गोलू-chan hitter है हाँ भाई
The energy's a little down, but the hope is still there.
मेरा
Here for the fans of NAOS Esports.
Look, if they make this comeback from 11-1, that would be one of the biggest comebacks in Valorant in VCT history.
Hey, anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Chaddi kholo Ganesh.
Everything on the line to try to play one more time here on this stage in Bangkok, but then to try to get into VCT Pacific. This would mean so much. I mean, it literally changes the careers and lives of these players that are playing this weekend. Quack. NAOS Esports, they cannot get a vote. You just have to say, okay, just pretend it's the first half
Batting
again.
cage
Just
क्या है?
continue to win through. Meanwhile,
बैटिंग केज मतलब बेसबॉल का भी होता है
that's the name of the game.
बेसबॉल का ही होता है बाहर इंडिया में क्रिकेट का भी होता है
5 assists rather than 4 deaths. He has a
क्रिकेट होता है
वो it's a practice arena है ना वो
हाँ
And that's because of how
बॉल आएगा तेरे को बस मारने का बैठ के
पर वो तो god हो
how sneaky he can be on this defensive
क्यों?
side. It all starts with
बहुत
this
गंदा
pistol,
cricket
right? NAOS need it now more so than
पर वो
ever.
एक ही राउंड
They
जीता वो
cannot
जो
make it happen. It is
सीनियर कल
essentially
ने
match
स्टनो
point
के वन
and
टैप
maybe
मार
even
दिया
हाँ भाई एक्चुअली वो
NAOS, they're holding
वो भी नहीं जीता
turret
वरना
received contact, NAOS taking the rope over, but this is also information for SCARZ. Look at how they're pushing out.
Oh, and Torneko, he knows that they're going to try to get
कितना मस्त खेल रहे हैं क्या
ओ भाई जा पकड़ लिया
So NAOS, not
हाँ
the
स्कार्स
end of
अच्छा
the
खेल रहे वॉक कांटेक्ट करके करके मारे
world. They have no idea. They think it's clear. Can he get more than one? He gets 2 and 3. Wits will clear out Arcade. And the spike will get planted Allen. Now located. Whoa, plan not quite finished just yet. Allen down to 20 health, but now Esports, you cannot rush this. So
ये क्या भाई one side मार रहे लोग? What the fuck?
For Wits. So
वन
close
साइड
to
मतलब
his
बहुत
own
गंदा मार रहे थे
The fuck?
Yeah, gone.
टू साइड हो
And they
गया
get to
अभी
buy up now, SCARZ. Do you force? That's
भाई
what
मेरा
they're
throat
thinking
यार
about.
इश
Of course, for NAOS,
क्या हो
they
गया?
want to secure this. They want to hold on to this momentum for as long as possible, and that's why we see them buying up Bulldogs.
throat itchy
With the
itchy
way
होता
that
है
Wits was
भाई
playing, hiding up for this,
ओहो जिम की
springing out at the opportune moment.
जी
It's
यार
great.
4-3 यूज
It's
करने
good.
वाला था बट अभी
But I
तो
also
नाउस
want to
हार
see him
रहा
play
है
together with his team so much more. He's been playing great alone, hiding and going for these surprise
वो
plays
हार रहा है तो
sometimes,
इसका मतलब थोड़ी
but he
रेजोल्यूशन
doesn't
से हार रहा
always
है
bring out the best for his team.
मेरा दिमाग में अटक
Well,
गया
you take
2-3
whatever
दिन
you
से
can get when you're in the situation of NAOS Esports right now, and quite frankly, they're on the attack. Surely, Wits is going to be a key part to their executes, to their team play. He's holding close, right outside the smoke.
कमबैक बोलते पापा सोचे कमबैक हो जाएगा आपका 1000 वाचिंग हो जाएगा सच में
हो ही नहीं सकता कमबैक
वॉच पार्टी कर लो क्या नेक्स्ट गेम का मैं पापा नेक्स्ट मैच कर रहे हो आप वॉच पार्टी
नहीं नहीं
Eventually gets cleared out after trying to pick up and hold on to that Spectre. That's already quite a bit of damage done to NAOS Esports.
नहीं भाई करो
फाइनल्स करूंगा कल ब्लीड और या बूम में से जो भी रहेगा वर्सेस स्कार्स मजा आएगा
नहीं आएगा
नहीं आएगा विनर गोस टू वीसीटी पैसिफिक नेक्स्ट ईयर ब्रो
पापा
and hopefully being able to win out this bonus against SCARZ's full. I mean, 1 point away, right? And this null command can give them so much as they push onto sites. Maybe that's what this next round comes down to. Alt orbs.
I was just about to say that, Quack. I'm glad you mentioned because there's 2 options.
You look
you can try to aggress onto the alt orb, but you can also try to predict if SCARZ will read your mind and set up a trap play around it. For now, it looks like NAOS just says, no, we're going to pile on through. If they got a tag, they would have gone for the fault line right away, but it's just going to be Crystal trying to lay the push with his own haunt.
He's gotten information that they are indeed going for that alt orb at the very least, though.
Yeah,
so it comes
they all
down to
clear out.
Mojer as well, as he kind of lurks out towards the south side of the map.
Ooh, but he doesn't have an exit. He does. Okay, he's gonna creep back out. The Prowler's here. You gotta make a choice here. 𝘼𝐽𝐿, you're gonna go for the kill. He gets one. Getting gets the second one. He's buying enough time. He's thinking about taking the rope. No, he knows he doesn't have a choice, and Crystal eventually figures it out. However, time bought for the entry. Yep, the spike finally getting planted. NAOS Esports, they've now trying to take control of main, but there's
oh shot bhai.
Yoshi, what was that reading?
Yoshi, कैसे मरते भाई सब?
Now NAOS Esports, they have to push
Flick का बोलते Flicka Flicka मार दिया
चल के flick मारा भाई.
But Torneko denies it.
चल के Flicka.
अरे
Senor Carl, can you
Senor Carl वो huge.
Alan comes
अरे
in for another one with the phantom
नहीं.
blade.
देखने से पहले.
Oh, Wits भाई का जा सकते थे huge पर.
अरे Crystal. And that's going to create map point for
कौन invite कर रहा है भाई?
Strong fundamentals from this team, and we're just watching how Torneko
Ole.
tears through apart the entire squad from the house. With the way that they peeked out together at the same time, last one delayed, Wits was not quite able to land that final spray transfer. Yoshi as well, you mentioned reading that mini-map. It was a good idea. This is the only idea that NAOS had, just to pick up that outdoor, play it off of it. And that's
playing question mark.
मेरे को भी same पूछा है.
However,
इसको? अरे आपका ही देख रहा है भाई, आपको पूरा दिख रहा है
Let's just say it like
हाँ
it
वो तो
is.
in-game
When
भी.
Crystal's putting up 22 kills
खेलना
already,
तो है पर
what do
अभी
you do,
नहीं.
right? Coming into
आधे
the second
घंटे
half,
बाद.
Quack, nobody on the side of NAOS
Stream ही कर
had
लूँगा.
double digits.
अरे
They
वो
all
पास
had
5
single
मिनट
digit
खेलोगे
kills.
क्या?
I mean, they were
खेलते
shut
हैं.
down left, right, and center.
चलो भाई खेलते हैं अभी शिफ्ट
And
करता
now,
हूँ.
push
भाई
up
मैं खेल
against
रहा
the
था
wall, using their second
6:30 बजे
timeout.
खेलते.
You know, they were hoping that they
भाई
could
मेरा
save
तो
this
रात हो
earlier
जाएगा
time,
मैं
hope
क्या
that
बात
they
कर.
could creep up just to the
6:30 मतलब क्या? अभी आधे घंटे में बोल रहा हूँ.
But alas, they have to throw everything at the wall.
अभी कौन सा रात नहीं हो रहा है जो आधे घंटे में रात हो
he
जाएगा.
often is wearing his jacket like half on his left arm. He
इधर
just took
खास
it off.
रहा है ये हो रहा है
He's
तेरे
rolled
को.
out his sleeves. He's ready to play.
और
It's up
stream
against
कर रहे
that
हैं.
with their backs up against the wall, and they're doing
आराम
this
कर गांड
for the
LCB के पहले.
Philippines.
अरे नींद अभी
have
किया
to
तो
make
उठ
it
जाऊंगा
happen.
भाई और
It
मिडल ऑफ द
is
नेट पागल हो जाऊंगा.
looking
नींद नहीं आया तो
near
वो वैसा
indomitable.
स्क्वायर बॉक्स पे
It's
बैठ के
so
क्या करूं.
daunting, but they can't give up now.
मूवी देख ले, थोड़ा रिलैक्स टाइम ले ले.
फोन में नहीं देख सकता हूँ.
पीसी पे देख ले.
पीसी किधर रहेगा?
अरे अभी बैठा है ना तो अभी एक मूवी देख ले कुछ और फिर चला जा घर पे.
इससे अच्छा खेल ही लूंगा ना, ऐसा नहीं कि पूरा ट्राइड करता हूँ मैं.
मतलब थ्रो करता है.
हाँ, स्ट्रीम में तो मैं थ्रो ही करता हूँ.
मालूम है.
ट्राइड तो सुबह से रात तक चलते ही है.
To make it happen, we now enter round 16. Could be the last one for NAOS Esports here at VCT Ascension Pacific. Just a quick hit.
Both fault lines, both blast packs. And Jemkin's waiting for them. Yoshi finds the first pick. Jemkin gets the second.
And Jemkin just holds. He hides away from that boom bot. They haven't gained
Chalo,
nearly
GG.
enough map control that they would want. 𝘼𝐽𝐿's creeping up from Dish, but here's the thing, you don't have anyone entering, and here's Crystal once again sneaks into the smoke. He's waiting, oh no!
Oh,
𝘼𝐽𝐿,
nice
a crucial kill. Now they draw away the attention, however. NAOS Esports, you have a minute. Do you consider rotating over? Because on the other side, Alan's watching it. That's why no one from SCARZ has any intention of moving.
I think they're worried about their flank too, Will, and that's probably why they don't want to rotate too far back Aftershock just to try to flush someone out. But look at how comfortable SCARZ are.
Yeah, Torneko's watching Jemkin's back. Jemkin just has to wait until the sound comes through for the spike plant. They're suspecting it though. They go for the tags. He's still hiding it. Torneko works off of it. The setup from SCARZ is so good. 𝘼𝐽𝐿 now down to a 1v3. Oh, he sees the stim pack. They're trying to bait him in. And now Yoshi going for the flank. He has so many angles to clear. Torneko continuing to get information. And the rolling thunder, he can't escape it. He's trapped. And
GG.
Torneko will finish the best of 3. SCARZ moves on to the grand final. And unfortunately, NAOS Esports will no longer have that chance to take
SCARZ
their
versus
place in
Bleed या तो
VCT
boom
Pacific as they
बोलते.
get eliminated in the semi-finals of VCT Ascension Pacific 2023.
SCARZ, that left a mark with how dominating that first half was, with that rolling thunder at the end. Zero options out from NAOS.
चलो guys, I don't think second game में stream करूँगा.
क्यों नहीं भाई?
नहीं भाई. नहीं हो रहा भाई. अरे भाई इतने गेम देख लिए अभी मैंने. DRX के भी कितने 6 गेम देखे. अभी ये गेम देखो. कल रात को भी गेम ही देख रहा था. बिग ब्रेन बसर का एपिसोड लिख रहा था मैं.
बिग ब्रेन बसर.
बी बोलते. चलो, थैंक यू गाइस फॉर ट्यूनिंग इन. लव यू ऑल. बाय बाय. मिलते हैं कल फाइनल्स पे.
बोलने के लिए नहीं बोलने.